Right?
I'm well.
Doing okay?
Yes, I'm doing well. You're live, actually.
Well, thank you so much. How is Canada?
This place it needs to make up its mind if it's still winter or if it's spring.
By the way, any plans to come on the island soon, Jamaica?
I haven't booked any flights or tickets or anything or made any arrangements. So I'm gonna say no because I haven't done that.
Wow, not for the rest of this year. Maybe next year.
Let's see. Let's see. I don't know.
Okay,
Who knows what December brings, right?
right. Well, um, boy, Kashafrin, it's a massive time in Jamaica. So many things are happening. Can't cover it all tonight, but we hope we can push through until 10 o'clock.
All right.
By the way,
Sounds good.
you did some overtime last night. Thank you.
You're most welcome. We got work to do.
All right. Later.
All right. Have a good show, neighbor.
Thank you so much. All right, listeners, welcome to the Hello Neighbor show right here on the Politics Plus network. I am elated to join you. Of course, to take you up to 10 o'clock tonight. Not doing any overtime today. Sunday is actually Father's Day, and I think I want to do something special for the fathers. Spend a little bit of time with them, maybe Sunday morning, and you know, just look at fatherhood today. But there is so much to talk about, so much to cover, and we want you to tap and share as you join with us on this Thursday, the 18th of June, 2026. Jamaica is virtually on fire. Good evening to you, Caroline. How are you doing?
Good evening, neighbor. How are you?
Well, I am doing okay. I I think that we need more time on the program tonight, although I'm not able to go beyond 10 o'clock. It is one of those days that I feel like we could do an all-nighter based on based on the amount of things that could be covered tonight. How you doing? You had a great day?
Oh, I had such a busy day, neighbor. So much errands and oh my God,
Uh-huh.
tired.
You're going to be traveling soon, eh?
Yes, neighbor.
Well, I hope that you will be safe and take care of yourself, and you'll be with us though. You won't be leaving us at all.
Let's see. Let's see, neighbor, based on the
Uh-huh.
time difference.
Yeah, Caroline. I've been thinking. See if you could help me here. Um, Jamaica is about to embark on the most ambitious reconstruction project in our history. Now,
Uh-huh.
the Prime Minister says he wants Jamaica to become like Singapore.
Uh-huh.
The government is pressing forward with some very ambitious projects in Jamaica. Crime is down, the economy is recovering. Jamaica just hosted one of the most successful diaspora conference.
Right?
Marlon, Jamaicans are talking about a fourth term,
Right,
and then
but
and
neighbor,
then and then
please
and then all of us.
reinforce.
Uh-huh.
Please emphasize the most successful diaspora conference, neighbor.
Yes, the most
Yes.
successful diaspora conference, which and you know why? And a lot of people That is why, Caroline, I need to get a sponsor because someone called me today and said, neighbor, you have to come on air in the days. You have to. I said, why? They said, you have to bring to the public view some of these issues. I will tell you this, Caroline, that you know why Jamaica was able to host such a successful diaspora conference? It is because of the interest in Jamaica,
It is. It
because
definitely is,
the
neighbor.
people want to come back at their yard. It is
Mm-hmm.
all linked to the performance of the government, especially as it relates to crime and health. Because those are two of the things that people in the diaspora particularly concerns them, Do we have a good system of health so that if you get sick, you can, get care? And am I going to feel safe? And the government, as a matter of fact, I understand that one of the reasons why Jamaica was able to sign this MOU with the United States is because Jamaica was able to demonstrate that the people would be safe in the society.
Uh-huh.
That they
Yes.
looked at Jamaica and say, you guys have made progress. Unlike El Salvador, Jamaica, which came with draconian rules and laws to curtail their security apparatus. We did it naturally
Uh-huh.
through investigative crime, and I think my understanding is that it is receiving worldwide recognition that Jamaica was able to bring down crime in a way that many countries would have to adjust their constitution to do so.
That's correct.
So then, Caroline, here is the government positioned to undertake a reconstruction of Jamaica that could possibly see Jamaica becoming a first world country. And all of a sudden, there are leaks out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Uh-huh.
Opposition is up in arms. Integrity reports are being published. Integrity reports are being tabled. Opposition is calling press conference. It all appears contrite. All appears as if someone is trying to shape the narrative here. Could this be something that is we're not seeing?
I don't think so, neighbor. I think that the opposition is committed to create chaos in the country, and I think it's because they want to distract the people from all the things that the government is doing in terms of building the country, right? And it's funny you asked me that question, neighbor, because today I was listening, on and off to some people on the social media platforms. And neighbor, can I tell you, these people that are making all these noise and saying all sort of nonsense, neighbor, they're not people who lives in Jamaica,
Uh-huh.
They're not. So many people have accents. They're speaking things that they don't know the facts.
Uh-huh.
And it is just very sad. So I just believe that there are a lot of people in the diaspora that remain tribal, and the opposition seem to know what to do to fuel their or to evoke their emotions, and they're causing chaos. And they can't, neighbor, it is so painful,
yes,
to know that so many good things are happening in the country for a change.
Yes.
And these people who, some of them, neighbor, are not even able to return to Jamaica.
Yes.
Right? I hope some of them will be shipped to some other country, neighbor. Because to be honest, neighbor, I am so disappointed that Jamaicans who live overseas, neighbor, are not concerned about or care about the growth of the country, neighbor.
Yes.
It is heartbreaking, because when you think about it, neighbor, all the things they're saying, they're not even considering the impact it is having on the image of the country.
Yes. It's all,
and
yeah, you're quite right.
Yes, and neighbor, I think for so long, neighbor, we have been labeled. Our country has been labeled to be among the worst in the world.
Yes.
Our crime rate was so high that it deter people from going to Jamaica. It deter investors. And for once, neighbor, things are changing in our country, and these people cannot appreciate it because they're so tribal.
Absolutely correct, Caroline. So it's all very sad what is happening, but I would urge the government to remain focused
Of course,
and
of course.
continue to do what the government was elected to do, Caroline. Because if you stop the stone after every dog that barks after you, you will not complete the journey. It is very important for Andrew Holness and his administration to remain focused. Deliver,
Of
Andrew,
course.
deliver, Andrew, deliver. Deliver roads,
Right, and
deliver water, deliver hospitals, bring down crime further, and you're going to be okay. Yes, Caroline.
and that is it, neighbor, that despite all the noise that is going on, neighbor, the government remain focused to building the country. So I don't know what is going to happen. I just really hope that at some point the opposition will have nothing else to focus on, because oh my God, neighbor, really, we're so happy that these people didn't win the election.
Well, ma'am,
it is the best thing that ever happened to Jamaica at the most critical time, neighbor.
It is true. It is majority that wins elections, not minority. The minority is loud, but it is the majority that wins. And I want the Holness administration to know that tonight, that the majority of Jamaicans support Andrew Holness and his government. There is no question
But
about that.
neighbor, let me ask you this. Neighbor, whenever we participate in any sporting activities or any kind of competition, similar to even an election, neighbor, and we lose, one of the things we have to do, neighbor, is that we always have to embrace ourselves for the possibility of losing,
Yes.
But neighbor, it just seems as if they're not able to get over this loss.
Well, I think it goes beyond the loss. I think the fourth term is causing terror and tremor. And I was saying to Chops the other night that maybe Labour Party supporters should kind of tone it down a little, because can you imagine the Prime Minister in Montego Bay laughing at the opposition leader, telling him that they want him there as opposition leader? It was a jibe, but Comrade's not happy about that. I think the terror.
Turn down what, neighbor? It's full speed ahead, neighbor.
Well, to be safe, fourth term.
Neighbor, full speed ahead. We're fired up and we are not going to stop going. Full speed ahead. Okay?
Yeah, but I think it is causing a lot of unease in the opposition. Not only the opposition, you notice that the civic groups are beginning to come out now, joining with the opposition, calling for the minister to resign. Fascinating stuff. We hope to cover some of that over the course of today.
Minister's going nowhere, neighbor. Nowhere.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Good evening, listeners. Thanks for joining us, neighbor. Please don't indulge me in these conversations.
Get you all fired up.
Get me all fired up, neighbor. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Please tap the screen, share the live, repost, keep the comment section active, and good evening to those over on YouTube and X. Please repost, like, subscribe, and share, and comment. Please send your feedbacks.
Yeah, you've been such a nice producer. I have something for you. I have something special for you.
You don't want me to start singing,
Grab your glass of red wine, Caroline, and come back with me.
Equal rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember us the man till we serve you well. Stand up, Jamaicans, when you hear the bell.
All right. Listen to me. I believe that the government of Jamaica need to be focused at this time. Don't be distracted by PNP noise. Keep your eyes on the prize, labor rights. Labor rights. Don't be distracted. Fourth term loading. Fourth term loading. Okay? Now, with all of the noise and the shenanigans, that's the mission. A fourth term for the Jamaica Labour Party. Jamaica Labour Party marching on to victory. Nothing, absolutely nothing can stop the labor right train from rolling in to a fourth consecutive term. Nothing. No matter what we do, it don't matter what we're going to walk out of parliament every single week. No press conference, no IC report, no leak, nothing will stop Jamaica from building, because that is what it is about. This is all a distraction, controlling of the narrative to distract the Jamaican people. 19 minutes after 7 o'clock, this is my message to you tonight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Paul says, looking on to Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. Do not be distracted by noise. Keep your eyes on your goods. Don't let the noise distract you. Forward ever, backward never. Forward, labor rights forward. Forward, labor rights forward. Forward unto victory. Labour Party marching on to victory. I wonder if I can find that. Labour Party marching on. All right? Now, the Parliament is in problem, you know. And I believe that we should start there tonight. I want you to listen to the Speaker of the House as she addressed the Parliament last evening. Listen to Juliet.
Any more questions? Calling by list the names of the constituencies for the members who put up their hands for questions or had their mics on at the time, and then indicating that the minister would answer all those questions. Stand. There is no challenge in giving leeway to members who subsequently to that ruling and statement deciding that, I didn't realize I had a question and I'd like to ask one. The appropriate thing to do is to be respectful and follow the House rules and ask the leader of opposition business to put forward the fact that there are some additional questions. The approach of standing up and attempting to bully the speaker is not one that will be met with positive results for you.
Well, I think you should understand that yesterday the opposition members stood up in the parliament, which elicited a response from the Prime Minister calling Dayton Campbell a bully. Bully, you are a bully, and you will not be allowed to bully us. So the entire opposition, they were standing up. The parliament had to be suspended for maybe 20 minutes because of the protests of the opposition. Protests.
And particularly going live in the parliament is utterly a disrespect for this very house and its rules.
One member was going live in the parliament. Member Burchell was doing a live from the parliament. Let that sink in as you listen to me tonight. Member Burchell turned on her live in the parliament. What is Miss Burchell doing in the parliament of Jamaica? What is Miss Burchell doing there? And when you get people like Miss Burchell in the parliament, that's what you get. Behaviors like that. That's part of the problem we have, the quality of persons being elected to parliament.
I won't even name the member who went live. I know the member has been spoken.
Why, Mrs. Holness? Why won't you name her? Did you see how she looked at you when you asked her to stop? Did you all see how Miss Burchell looked at the speaker when the speaker asked her not to record the proceedings of the parliament? Did you all see Miss Burchell's, how she looked at Miss Holness? I think Jamaica needs to start the debate there, right at the parliament. If we don't fix the parliament, we now fix Jamaica. If we do not fix the parliament, we're not going to be able to fix Jamaica. And Prime Minister, I am asking you, sir, start a national debate or dialogue about the behavior in the parliament. Because we talk about Jamaica becoming Singapore. That is a pipe dream if the parliament remains like this. Right now, parliament is a disgrace. It has never been this bad. This is the worst parliament that I have seen in my lifetime. Since September 3rd, this parliament does not reflect the type of Jamaica we are hoping to build. This parliament does not reflect us. It does not reflect the type. And let me tell you something. There's a marshal in the parliament. He should be ushered out. that marshal is of no use. That marshal should be fired. I feel bad that taxpayers' money is being used to pay that inept marshal. Fire the marshal. What the dickens is that marshal doing in the parliament? What is his marshal? That marshal have no use. What is the role of the marshal? We can do that in the civic class. Name the member, Speaker. Name the member and suspend her from the House. Name the member. Why is the Speaker refusing to name the member? Did Miss Holness see how Miss Burchell look at her? Miss Burchell don't have no class. Burchell don't have no class, you know. Miss Burchell is a classless woman. And you know, I blame the Labour Party for Miss Burchell being in the parliament. But Miss Burchell should never. I don't know how Homer, you make Miss Burchell beat you? Come on.
Asking everyone to repost the live, please. Tap share and comment, please.
Miss Burchell is a classless woman. I don't care who want to criticize. Miss Burchell don't have nothing about her. Miss Burchell is not a beautiful woman, you know. And she not shape good either. So I don't know what is this foolishness about shape. Burchell no have no class, man. It's a classless lady. Is she a lady? Well, yeah, she's a woman. I don't know if she's a lady. There's no week that Miss Burchell had her phone live telling, oh, they're not allowing me to ask questions on behalf of the people of Jamaica. It's a classless woman. Miss Holness, if you don't name Miss Burchell and suspend her from the House, I'm not going to be too happy with you, man. You are to name Miss Burchell and suspend her for her behavior in the parliament. Miss Burchell must be suspended.
To before, the member has been spoken to again. The member, if the member knows, well, you deleted your live. Someone has actually sent it when I left the office. I went to my chamber and spent the time to speak to the other members.
You hear that? In the Parliament of Jamaica, a member of Parliament was doing a live from the hallowed floor of the Parliament. A member is recording a live. What a disgrace. What is this that the country has come to? You know, the mirror is cracked. The soul of the nation is now in question. Let's listen further to the speaker.
I don't need to go any further. I would like members of the House to spend some time, all members of the House to spend some time to appreciate the standing orders and their interconnectivity. And I'm going to reiterate the ruling made in respect of Standing Order 32.1 Standing Order 32.2 as it relates to rising in place so that you can address your observations to the Speaker or Chair. I have no challenge, as I said before, respectfully, if a member or members decide that they have questions after. However, the approach taken to stand each week to cause disruption in the House, to cause the suspension of the sitting, cannot be rewarded. House Leader, could you please move for the recommittal?
Madam Speaker.
She did not say what she said she said. She needs to pull the Hansard.
Madam Speaker.
The Hansard will be circulated for your benefit next week, the entire House.
Yeah, so one member in the House, especially Miss Burchell, is bringing the House into disrepute. Why? And why is it that no member on the PNP side can correct Miss Burchell? Is it true that Miss Burchell have secret for them? Is it true that Miss Burchell, nobody can talk to Miss Burchell in the PNP? How Burchell can bring down the PNP? Is that true? Is it true that Miss Burchell know things about members in the PNP? That if anybody ever talked to her too hard, she let it out? Well, that is what I'm hearing. That is what I am hearing. That it is going to get worse because every attempt to tell Miss Burchell to behave herself have failed because Miss Burchell said, should we talk? What? Boy, I tell you something, the politics is about to get very, very interesting in Jamaica, you know. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we set out to deceive. Huh? So then Miss Burchell has held the PNP under ransom because of secrets that she knows. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. By the way, unlike other people online, I don't talk what I don't know. I have my sources, and my sources tell me that Burchell is a law unto herself in the PNP because of what you know. That they can't talk to her. Because if they talk to her too hard, she threatened to bust out their secret. I hear that there are even pictures. That Miss Burchell have pictures. Oh God, I would love to see those pictures. I would love to see those pictures drop. Can you can you imagine men with their pants down? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Jamaica. Anyway, give me a second there. Let me listen to the speaker.
So we'll just say when there's some people who have questions.
Madam Speaker, I believe that in the interest of the nation, when I asked the question earlier as it relates to whether or not we will be taking additional questions following the first set of questions taken by the minister, you gave the impression that you would have reverted to questions following the minister's response to the first set of questions. I understand what transpired thereafter, that perhaps your spirit is not allowing you to feel like you would want to hear the additional questions. But each member here, in her own right or in his own right, has the obligation, to the people that sent them here to ask the questions on behalf of the nation. And I think it's going to be a reflection of your own discretion this afternoon for you to just allow for the following questions, the remaining questions to be asked. The minister is quite capable of responding. How many additional persons have
No,
questions?
that's not
I'm just
appropriate.
asking,
That's not appropriate. I will ask that question.
Okay.
Thank you
And
very much.
I would
You may
want to
take your seat,
to
leader of
step on.
opposition business.
And I thank
Members,
you. I appreciate
go
it.
ahead. I love to hear you say thank you. I don't hear it often enough. Thank you so much, leader of opposition business.
You hear that? They don't even tell the speaker thanks. The opposition members don't even tell the speaker thanks. Anyway, let me put something to you before I move on. There is an old political trick, you see, that is called the politics of distraction. It's about narrative framing. The government of Jamaica just passed the NARA bill, and they appointed a CEO, Major General Anderson. The government is about to launch the most massive infrastructure project in Jamaica's history. The Prime Minister is out talking about Jamaica becoming like Singapore and Dubai. And the supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party are trolling the PNP about a fourth term. All over social media, you look, you see the caption "fourth term loading" with a picture of Andrew Holness. This would make any opposition nervous. As a matter of fact, if I were in the opposition, I would be nervous too. A fourth consecutive defeat for any opposition party is political burial. How does the PNP survive a fourth defeat? How? No political party remains relevant after suffering 4 defeats. And every day that you wake up in Jamaica, you cannot see any possibility, even probability, that the PNP is going to be able to unseat Jamaica's most successful prime minister. Because I don't care what people say, the Holness legacy is unmatched today, is unmatched tomorrow, and will be unmatched on Saturday. Mark Golding Jefferson is not going to be able to win an election against Andrew Holness. Because I can tell you this, the government of Jamaica is about to make some moves that is going to be shocking. And it's going to drive the PNP into desperation. Because at this point, they are looking desperate and desperater and desperater.
Asking everyone to repost, tap and share, please.
The government of Jamaica just hosted the most successful diaspora conference in Montego Bay. At that conference, the Prime Minister of Jamaica made a little laugh after the opposition leader, which has not gone down well among Mr. Golding's friends and in the party itself. The Prime Minister actually said this. If I could play that for you. Yep.
My dear friend, Mr. Mark Golding. Mark, how could I forget you? You know, it was not always the case at these events that the leader of the opposition was invited to speak. But as this event evolved into more of a national event rather than a government-sponsored event, it became the protocol that the leader of the opposition, which is a constitutional position, quite a unique thing in constitutional innovations, to have the office of the leader of the opposition written into the Constitution. So, Mark, we can never forget you. And we're always happy to have you here as leader of the opposition.
Well, that hasn't gone down too well. And they laugh, I tell you.
Oh gosh. That's how we do it in Jamaica. My dear friend, Mr. Mark Golding. So Mark, we can never forget you. And we're always happy to have you here as leader of the opposition. Paul.
Sorry about that.
That the leader of the opposition, which is a constitutional position, quite a unique thing in constitutional innovations, to have the office of the leader of the opposition written into the Constitution. So Mark, we can never forget you. And we're always happy to have you here as leader of the opposition. Oh gosh.
All right. So then, all of a sudden, the parliament is erupting, walkouts, leaks out of the Foreign Affairs Ministry. The opposition leader's statutory declaration is released. Now there is pressure on the Prime Minister for his statutory declarations to be released. The cleaner comes out with the Porty deal today. It came out that Audrey Marks have questions to answer. And yesterday, the IC report suggested that Cabinet Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley is to be charged with illicit enrichment. TVJ is saying that is not one minister, it's eight, eight members of the Jamaica, I don't hear them say the Jamaica Labour Party, but eight members are being investigated for illicit enrichment. Here is TVJ.
Welcome back to Primetime News, and a special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. Up first this evening, the Integrity Commission has ruled that Cabinet Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley be charged with 4 offences, including illicit enrichment. The disclosure was made following an Integrity Commission report tabled this afternoon in the House of Representatives. Details in this report from Andrea Chisholm.
We have been hearing about the illicit eight parliamentarians being investigated for illicit enrichment.
Hold on there. A long time this news not drop at Jamaica. Illicit enrichment is a serious allegation, you know. 8, and based on Mr. Golding, he has asked, and none of those 8 are his. TVJ is saying that 8 members of parliament are being investigated for illicit enrichment. What the dickens is this?
Hearing about the illicit eight parliamentarians being investigated for illicit enrichment. Illicit enrichment has to do with the public servants not being able to explain how they own assets which exceed their lawful earnings. And on Wednesday, the Integrity Commission is pointing the first finger at Dr. Andrew Wheatley, the minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, with the responsibility for science, technology, and special projects. For the period 2013 to 2022, the Integrity Commission stated that the illicit enrichment was roughly $164.2 million. And when given the opportunity to explain how he came by such assets, a satisfactory explanation was not provided. The Integrity Commission also concluded that Dr. Andrew Wheatley failed to provide information concerning his statutory declarations for the years 2018 and 2019. He also failed to include 5 loans held in his name, an investment on still particulars of 20 properties owned jointly or otherwise. The Integrity Commission.
All right, so there you have it. The People's National Party today, as was expected, held a press conference. Mark Golding and 2 of his colleagues came out and they are suggesting that the Prime Minister sack Dr. Wheatley. The opposition leader says that if the Prime Minister does not sack Dr. Wheatley, they are going to call upon their civic groups. Civil society is going to come out. Already, Jamaicans for Justice have joined. The PNP says that civil society is to join the demand for Wheatley's removal. Yes? Now, the PNP say they are going to escalate In other words, them will get wicked pan them. I get wicked pan them. They are going to escalate it by reaching out to other organizations in society with whom we have regular dialogue. You hear that? Now that is massively interesting. So the civic organizations are in regular dialogue with the PNP. I thought that the civic groups were independent groups. No. When the Prime Minister said that the civic groups were politically aligned, Dion Jackson Miller came out and said, how could the Prime Minister be criticizing the civic groups? And here we have...
Okay, folks, a new CEO of NARA, the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, is on the job. Going to break down some of what he's been saying at first. Want to know what you think? I'll tell you what I think. I'm Dion Jax Miller. Thank you.
There you go. Time for tea. Lord God, Jamaica nice. Jamaica nice, you know. It is a nice, what a nice place to live. Sweet jam down. What a nice place to live. You know, Shefreen, is a pity I can't drop that Tony Rebel upon them tonight, you know. What a nice place to let us have tea, I tell you the truth. It is a fascinating thing. Mrs. Jackson Miller says that, listen to Mrs. Miller. Listen to her. All right. Okay.
Engineering background and significant experience leading large complex organizations. Personally, I am comfortable that he can handle NARA. Now, was he the best choice? I don't know, because I don't know who else applied and what their qualifications were. I wasn't sitting on the interview panel. I don't have the file then.
Okay, that's not it. That's not it. Let's go to the previous one. We want to find where Mrs. Jackson Miller was suggesting. By the way, let's find the one with Miss Jackson Miller talking about the 28 civic groups that the Prime Minister, she was criticizing the Prime Minister for criticizing the civic groups. Okay, no, Andrew, she says, no, Andrew. Listen to me.
So NARA is no law, but I have an issue with something the Prime Minister said at the announcement. I'm Dion Jax Miller. Thank you so much for joining me. Time for tea.
Right. So that's the tape where Miss Jackson Miller criticized the Prime Minister. Listen up.
8 civil society groups and individuals, they had issued a statement of concern. I'd done a video on civil society saying you're not talking to us about this NARA bill. I'll link that below and at the end as well. So I'm not going to rehash what they said. But some of the groups that signed on to that particular statement, Advocates Network, Stand Up for Jamaica, Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, Jamaicans for Justice, Jamaica Environment Trust, Jamaica National Integrity Action, Jamaica Beach Birthright Movement. Some of the other groups outside of the 28 that express concern, church groups, the Jamaica Council of Churches, the Jamaica Umbrella Groups of Churches, the Watchman Church Leaders Alliance, Engineers, the Incorporated Master Builders Association, other groups that people don't really hear as much about, or you don't really hear them talk a lot. The Yamawe Council of Indigenous Leaders, they were concerned, for instance, about the impact of NARA on land rights, just to give you an example. So we're talking professional groups, civil society groups, advocacy groups, community groups, church groups, people who are skilled and experienced in areas like governance and development in construction, all of them saying there are issues with this bill. Well, it's now the law. The point I'm making is that the concerns about the NARA bill were coming from a whole heap of people from different groups, different occupations, different skill sets. So for the Prime Minister to sound as if he's dismissing all of that with this comment about fear and ignorance is honestly deeply disrespectful. But he had more to say.
But it's clear to me that there are a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see speed. They believe that if it didn't take long, it wasn't well done. And we need to change that culture. But there are also a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see NARA succeed. It's not in their political interest for NARA to succeed, and we must call them out. They hide under all kinds of names, claim to be parts of civil society when they're not. They are political activists, and we must call them by the name. And I stand here frankly and say that.
This is a really bad comment from the PM. Honestly, it's terrible. Because the message people are getting here is...
You hear that? It's a bad comment from the Prime Minister. It is terrible. What did the Prime Minister say that was bad and terrible? Listen again, because you mustn't miss it. Listen again. Listen to the Prime Minister.
What to say?
But it's clear to me that there are a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see speed. They believe that if it didn't take long, it wasn't well done. And we need to change that culture. But there are also a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see NARA succeed. It's not in their political interest for NARA to succeed, and we must call them out. They hide under all kinds of names, claim to be parts of civil society when they're not. They are political activists, and we must call them by the name. And I stand here frankly and say that.
This is a really bad comment from the PM. Honestly, it's terrible. Because the message people are getting here is that, boy, if you don't fall in line with government, if you don't do what they want to do, if you don't say what they want to say.
That's the problem. You are to allow people to trample upon you and don't say no. The minute the Prime Minister speaks what is truthful and what is fact and what is to be said, the fact of the matter is that the civic groups are politically aligned. They have political interests. There's nothing terrible about that, Mrs. Jackson Miller. What is terrible is that you are failing to acknowledge that. Because here is the PNP today, the leader of the opposition, saying that the People's National Party is going to reach out to other organizations in the society with whom they have regular dialogue. Which are those groups? Which are the groups in the society with whom the PNP have regular dialogue? Well, Jamaican for Justice, NIA boss, says Holness must get his cabinet in order. Principal Director of the National Integrity Action, NIA, Dr. Gavin Myers, believes Prime Minister Dr. Holness should do what he must do to dispel any perception of corruption in his cabinet. Where is the perception of corruption in the Holness cabinet? Where is it? Dr. Gavin Myers? Where is it? Where is the perception of corruption in the Holness cabinet? Where there? Where is the report that the cabinet of Jamaica is corrupt? Where is that report? Where is that perception? It's a conflating of issues. It's actually dishonest. The cabinet of Jamaica is not under investigation. The cabinet of Jamaica is under no investigation. The cabinet of Jamaica is a collective unit different from any member of the cabinet. Collective responsibility does not apply to a member's personal finances. If Dr. Wheatley has a private arrangement and is being investigated, that no have nothing to do with the cabinet. That is Dr. Wheatley and the ICE matter to sort out in a court. That don't have nothing to do with the cabinet, Dr. Gavin. So what are you talking about? Gavin was reacting to the Integrity Commission's recommendation that Science, Technology and Special Projects Minister Dr. Wheatley be charged for illicit enrichment. That is not a matter for the cabinet. That is between Dr. Wheatley and the Integrity Commission and the court. That is not the cabinet of Jamaica. So when Dr. Wheatley, Dr. Myers is coming out to talk about Holness must get his cabinet, that is rubbish, Dr. Myers. That is arrogant. And for a man in your position to be spewing such purid nonsense is so disappointing. In the meantime, Jamaican for Justice Director Michael Jackson is calling for the immediate removal of Dr. Wheatley as a cabinet minister pending the outcome of criminal charges recommended against him by the Integrity Commission. Quoting JFJ, Minister Wheatley is facing serious corruption charges, including illicit enrichment of some 164 million. He has asserted his innocence. Notwithstanding, he should be immediately removed from the cabinet pending the outcome of the case, Jackson said in a post on social media site on X. Now, that makes sense to me. Make that make sense. Because an allegation is not evidence. An allegation is not evidence. And at this point, there is absolutely nothing that has been reported in the news that suggests any corruption or criminality on the part of Dr. Wheatley. Nothing. If Dr. Wheatley is removed from the cabinet, then the Prime Minister would be feeding into a narrative that a man is guilty on an allegation. And I know that the politics of this is has to be managed. You know, do you guys, do you know the Dudus case? You know the Dudus case? And did you know that Bruce Golding stood on a principle, and it probably may have cost him his prime ministership, you know. But if Prime Minister Holness dismisses Dr. Wheatley, then the Prime Minister is feeding into this narrative that a man is to be condemned on an allegation. Unless there is evidence given by Dr. Wheatley to the Prime Minister Contrary to what is reported in the media, the Prime Minister ought not to remove Dr. Wheatley from his position. The Prime Minister must not act on what Mr. Golding is saying. The Prime Minister is not to act on what JFJ is saying or any civil society group. The Prime Minister must act on the principle of law. And allegations are not facts. It doesn't matter how Jamaica ball. Because the Prime Minister himself well, I don't want to say anything more on that. Do not remove Dr. Wheatley. Do not remove Dr. Wheatley. Dr. Wheatley is to remain in his job. Dr. Wheatley is to, I see where Dr. Wheatley has assembled a powerful legal team. And Dr. Wheatley is to be given a fair chance to defend himself. It don't matter what the noise. This country cannot be run on noise and propaganda and damn lies. This is a democracy, and in a democracy, truth is what we are to condemn people on. Truth. Because I myself have suffered because of damn rumors. That not no gossip. And even if you have to lose, you must stand up for principle. A man is to be presumed innocent. A man is to be presumed innocent until he is proven guilty. And Dr. Wheatley has not been proven guilty for anything. And so if Dr. Wheatley is removed from his cabinet, I will not support it. And I will not support it. Because what goes for Dr. Wheatley goes for every Jamaican, including me, including you. And the young man over in Spanish Town who cannot defend himself. This country needs to change. Not even a charge. You don't remove him on a charge. Let him prove himself. And if the court decides that he's guilty, that's when he is removed. Donald Trump is president of the United States today. I don't have to go through the history. Jamaica must change. And if we are going to become Singapore, we cannot become Singapore Prime Minister without an observance of law. Not perception, not opposition, not pressure groups. To hell with pressure groups. It is what does the law say? Because today is Dr. Wheatley, tomorrow. And let me tell you something. And I want you to pardon me to say this, because what I'm about to say is very sensitive. What I'm about to say is very sensitive. Grab a cup of coffee and listen carefully. The Prime Minister must be careful that they're not setting him up. What would happen if Wheatley is removed from the cabinet? You know what? I will not say it, because it is too sensitive. All I will say is if the Prime Minister removes Dr. Wheatley from the cabinet, and I don't want to hear that Dr. Wheatley resigned. I don't want to hear that Dr. Wheatley resign. I don't want to hear that, Dr. Wheatley offered his resignation to the government because they come out with these press. Oh, Dr. Wheatley don't not to offer no resignation. And if you are listening to me, any member of the party, don't do it. You have 4 years to an election. Go and deliver for the people. That's all you need to do, Deliver for the people of Jamaica. Go and build roads, fix the road, build the people hospital, grow the economy, build back the bridges and the schools and the hospitals, and you can't lose the election. There's no political fallout in this Wheatley matter. None. There is no political fallout here, Prime Minister. Calm yourself. Press on with the job of government. And we need, in this country, to stop this nonsense where we condemn people on an allegation. Right? You don't condemn people on an allegation. Allegations are not facts. Allegations have been made against me. I remember some times ago, I got a letter. I was working at a particular place. And I'm going to talk it. And a member of my family lent me some money and I bought a car. I'll know me not pay it back, I'll know me not pay back the money yet. You hear me telling you? God is my witness. A family member lent me, I saw a car, not an expensive car, a nice little car, and I saw it and I approached a family member and got a loan and bought it. And when I drove the car to work, the employees said, me thief. A thief money in the place to buy a car. I was shocked when a letter came to me to attend a meeting to answer how I come about this car. You see, if it was today, I would have write them back and tell them what they have to do. I would have write them back and I would have tell them what they have to go do. Sometimes a bad mind, Dr. Wheatley have one little $168 million. And guess what? He shouldn't have it. Let's just talk fear here tonight. You think is everybody in Jamaica happy that Dr. Wheatley is a black man? What he might do with $168 million? Black man. You see this because we do not even understand some of the things that are happening here. Some of it have nothing to do with illicit. Because guess what? If I were one white man, probably, and I'm sorry guys, if it probably was a brown skinned man, nothing. But when black man gets so much money in your account. And in this country, Jamaica, we put our foot in the necks of our own. That's part of our problem. We put our foot in the necks of our own. As country spells disaster, when the slave, if I finish that quote, it may be too controversial. some of it a bad mind. This little boy from Spanish Town, where he come from, account how $160 million in account. How him we have that? No, incorrupt. Can't be that he work hard. Can't be that he invest. Can't be that he's smart. The Prime Minister said, he started with a few taxes. Bill himself. I become me, kind of, make some mistakes in my life. Because me could have that money too, That I don't know no money. 168 million, I don't know money. $168 million are no money, And that's part of the problem is that way, how he come by it. I must thief. Every time they, right now this country, if you drive one little expensive car, you're a thief. You're either a Batman or you sell crutches or you're a thief. You can't work hard, invest, and achieve nothing in Jamaica. You're a scammer, you're backward today. It's true. Because I've been through it. You dress nice, you're a thief. You wear one new shoes, you change your car, you're a thief. Yes? I come on this program at night time and I put on an old jacket. See, 2 little old jacket me have hang up in here. So. Me switch them around night after night. And people are saying, oh, he's well paid. What the hell? He's a well paid blogger. He's well paid. The nonsense. Who well paid what? Sometimes we can barely find a little gas between our car. People are going to talk. Oh, well, foolishness. Let me tell you something. Anyway, Prime Minister Holness. Nonsense. Nonsense. One little chair. Yeah, people see you sitting on a little chair. One little plate. Oh, he's well paid. Well paid Labour Party blogger. Who paying this man? Bad mind is one of our worst sins in this country, And probably bad mind is part of what is driving what is happening here. And I believe that this case must be used as a moment of teaching in Jamaica. Dr. Wheatley's case must be used as a moment of teaching. Dr. Wheatley is to remain in the cabinet until Dr. Wheatley is proven to be guilty, not to come out of the cabinet. When Mr. Patterson was Prime Minister, there were scandals after scandals after scandals after scandals, and nobody resigned from the cabinet. Nobody resigned from the cabinet. And Dr. Wheatley has been, the Integrity Commission has done their report. They have their right, yeah. They have recommended, yes. Go to court, Dr. Wheatley, prove your guilt or innocent. And when that is done, then a decision is made as to whether or not you remain in the cabinet of Jamaica. Until then, if the Prime Minister removes Dr. Wheatley, the Prime Minister is going to start something that he cannot fix. You hear me tell you? Anyhow, Dr. Wheatley is removed from the cabinet, something is going to start in a Jamaica that can't fix. We must not bow to the pressure of those who, for political gain, for political reason, want to destabilize the duly elected government of Jamaica. The government of Jamaica was duly elected on September 3rd, 2025. And until the people of Jamaica decides that that government is to is not worthy of their trust, the government is to continue doing the job it has been elected to do. Every member of the government. And until a court proves otherwise, every member remain in their position. Go ahead with no foolishness. The law is what shackles these decisions. Justice must not only be done, justice must manifestly and undoubtedly be seen to be done. Because today is Dr. Wheatley, tomorrow it could be the Prime Minister. Saturday, it could be Darrell Vaz. Sunday, it could be Bobby Montague. Monday, it could be Floyd Green. Due process must be respected in Jamaica every time, for everyone. And this includes the man who sells onion downtown. I have a case before the court right now. And I lost. I lost at the Supreme Court. And I challenged it in the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal threw it out. My case. Court of Appeal said, no, the Supreme Court erred. Okay? That's the system of justice working. I exercise my right to challenge a decision made by a court in Jamaica against me and got justice at the appeals court. And if the appeals court did not, I could go to the Privy Council if I had the money to do it. Dr. Wheatley is no different. Dr. Wheatley is a Jamaican. Dr. Wheatley has rights. And that Dr. Wheatley's rights must not be trampled on. And I'm not taking up for Dr. Wheatley because I don't know him. I am taking up for justice, for law, and for order. And this nonsense that we come out with every time, that every time there's an allegation, there are allegations against all type of people in the cabinet, in the parliament. Why do all of them not resign? What about Mr. Gordon from the PNP? Is he sitting in parliament? Why hasn't he resigned? The allegations against him were even, aren't those serious allegations? Dennis Gordon and the Jackden matter. Come on, guys. We're not saying that the allegations are not serious. What we're saying is that they are allegations. And if a man is to lose his job on an allegation, it means that somebody can tell lie on you. Say you're grape on a young girl and your boss is to fire you for it. Huh? What if when you go to work tomorrow, your boss comes to you and tell you, say, Miss Blueberry, we hear, right, that you took away the AC out of the office. You're fired? You crazy? No, where is the evidence? An investigation is to be done and you are to be given a chance to defend yourself. We can't run a country on perception. We run a country on law. We run a country on due process. Justice is not a cloistered virtue. That's why the courts are open, and that's why sometimes you are tried by a member of your peers. It's called jury. This must be a country where we encourage due process, not press conference. Press conference can call upon a man to resign and be sacked. Be sacked for what? There's nothing for Dr. Wheatley to be sacked about. Dr. Wheatley, do not resign, sir. Do not resign. Do not resign, Dr. Do not resign. Don't let me wake up tomorrow morning and hear about Dr. Wheatley. Oh, the Prime Minister has asked Dr. Wheatley for his resignation. Don't do it. Don't do it, Prime Minister. Because that is only going to strengthen the opposition's hand. And there's nothing to explain. The government don't need to explain. The government don't have nothing to do with this, I wonder if you know that. The Jamaica Labour Party, the government, nothing to do with it. This is a matter between Dr. Wheatley and the IC and the court. Let them work that out. And the Prime Minister awaits. Hold on. The Prime Minister awaits the decision of the court. That's it. The Prime Minister awaits the decision of the court. In the meantime, the government of Jamaica remains focused on its task and continues to deliver for the people of Jamaica. Argument done. Let the PNP go and burn down Riverton Dump. One, fix the roads. Fix the hospitals. Fix the clinics. Better the lives of the Jamaican people. That's what the Jamaican people are interested in. Jamaican people not interested in this. And I'm sure if you go up to Dr. Wheatley's constituency and call an election up there tomorrow, he'll win by a landslide. The constituents of Dr. Wheatley are not interested in this, because he can't lose his seat. Put it to them and see what them do. He'll win by 80%. What the people of Jamaica are interested in is their daily life. Thank God the Strait of Hormuz is reopened. The war in Iran is on a pause. Oil prices are going down. Good for our economy. All right. I want
asking everyone to keep tapping the screen, share the live, or repost the live. You can also remove the repost and repost again. All right, thanks.
Anyhow, I wake up tomorrow morning and there is any report that Dr. Wheatley has resigned, I'll be very disappointed. And I'll be called, and I would call it out, because I am for rules and law of the rule of law. All right. So, do we have Member Harry there yet, Caroline? It is actually 8:30. Oh my God, I've been going for an hour and a half. Do we have Member Harry? Member Harry, or Scratchy? Okay. Okay. Who do we have? All right. Okay. I'm going to open the lines. There are so many things that we can talk about. I don't know what is on your mind, but you can come up and tell me how you feel about all the issues that are on the agenda, and we can speak on that. Hello there to you, Scratch. How are you, man? Hello, Scratchy.
Blessed night, sir. Blessed night, Mr. Neighbor. Caroline, everyone. No further respect.
Hi, Scratchy. Scratchy, I'm going to start where I've been speaking about, because the more I examine what is happening in Jamaica, I want to put it in the context of the aspiration of the Prime Minister that Jamaica must press on to become a Singapore. Scratchy, when I look at where Jamaica is today, the government launching NARA, appointing the CEO. When you listen to Minister Morgan last night in the Parliament, you see clearly that the government is about to do some massive projects. Then you have the most successful diaspora conference, successful because the country is tackling the monster of crime, and Jamaicans in the diaspora are feeling safe. They want to come back home. They want to invest. All of a sudden, Scratchy, the people of Jamaica are distracted. Leaks are coming out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now we are hearing that it is Audrey Marks that started conversations. The People's National Party are protesting in Parliament. The opposition leaders' statutory declarations have been released all of a sudden. I see now coming out to say Dr. Wheatley is to be charged. Scratchy, politics is a brutal game, you know, and everybody is competing for the narrative. Do you not think, Scratchy, that there could be some contriving here, some plan to disrupt the government, some plan to distract the people of Jamaica from focusing on what is happening and to throw the party off the fourth turn? Do you think this is all just happening out of the blue, or do you think that there's a hidden hand at work here?
Neighbor, persons, if I come from a different jurisdiction neighbor, a different country neighbor, looking outside and looking in neighbor, I would say to myself that this look natural, you know. But persons like ourselves neighbor who understand what Jamaican politics is neighbor, we see the type of attack that this government has come on ever since and become the government from 2016 to present.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented neighbor. It definitely neighbor sends a signal neighbor that there's a cross section of this population neighbor that is directly against government neighbor.
And that's not only the PNP member of parliament. That is within the country.
No. In the country neighbor.
Yes.
Not just
and probably outside too.
Yes, neighbor, there are inside forces neighbor and there are outside forces neighbor who prefer neighbor to see Jamaica or benefit from Jamaica neighbor when Jamaica is on its back. So like these persons neighbor, even though you might looking out and we looking in neighbor, we might say, okay, we like where Jamaica is going, we like the advancement neighbor, there are still a large section
because Jamaica's advancement is not going to advance their political movement.
Yeah, and not only their own political movement neighbor, their own financial movement as well neighbor.
Yes.
Because whatever they have their educational background is neighbor, is things neighbor that has to do with the destruction of Jamaica neighbor, high crime rate, high poverty rate, stuff like that neighbor. So you get to find neighbor that definitely neighbor there's a section of Jamaica neighbor, there's a hidden agenda neighbor. It might not be a large population neighbor, but they might not be large in numbers neighbor. But in terms of their societal value neighbor and the dominance and the power that some of them own in our society neighbor, that is why their message is seeming like it is reaching and it's seeming that like it is connecting neighbor. Neighbor, no matter what is the issue neighbor, when you have an institution neighbor in a country neighbor who set out neighbor as an agenda neighbor to try to overthrow a government neighbor, it goes to show you that something is not right neighbor.
But I don't even know why that matter has not even gotten the type of attention that it deserves, Scratchy, because there are views that the results of the last election, there were institutions in Jamaica that were trying to influence the outcome of the election. That's democracy under threat, Scratchy.
Neighbor, that's clear neighbor. The media was one neighbor. A cross section of the media was one neighbor that was definitely trying to overthrow the government neighbor. There you have an institution of the arm of government or a creature of parliament neighbor who was using its own neighbor powers neighbor to try in its best way neighbor to trample on the government. If you look at how the IC releases the report neighbor, I don't have a full understanding, but it is too coincidental neighbor that the IC reports neighbor come out in a certain time neighbor when there's so much neighbor that is going on, in terms of the advancement and the movement of the country. Now we have NARA. Try to prove to Jamaicans and give Jamaicans an opportunity to bind to NARA, to give Jamaicans an opportunity to say that, okay, the government is trustworthy, the government is this, the government is that. Then now, neighbor, we'll see an IC report, neighbor, of this nature now, neighbor, coming out, neighbor, to kind of try to trample on everything that the message that the government was saying in regards to NARA. So I beg to ask sometime, I wonder, neighbor, if these things are planned, if these things are orchestrated, neighbor. But on a professional level, we'll try to look at it and say, okay, it is not planned, it is not orchestrated, because we understand we understand the governance structure neighbor, or respect the institutions neighbor. But I think neighbor, to reach a level now neighbor where I can safely say neighbor that these institutions neighbor, they are what you would call it now neighbor, they're in a spot neighbor where I don't know if neighbor your mandate or their mission statement neighbor is what they're following neighbor. I believe that they have some form of hidden agenda neighbor, and that hidden agenda neighbor is to slow the progress and the advancement of this government neighbor, which is the Jamaica Labour Party by extension neighbor, by whatever means, because they see the type of work that this government is doing neighbor, they see the plans that this government have neighbor, and the advancement and the forwardness of Jamaica neighbor. stop it. It's a hindrance to a lot of these people financially. It's a hindrance to a lot of these people, neighbor, from the position that they hold in society, neighbor. 10 years now in government, neighbor, a lot of them might say to themselves, this is the worst 10 year of their life, not the worst 10 year of Jamaica, neighbor, but the 10 year of their own personal life, neighbor. Because a lot of these persons, neighbor, are the ones who I tell you before, neighbor, whenever crime is high, neighbor, they are the ones who form NGOs and form groups, neighbor, and create programs and go to donor agency and can get 70, 80, 300 million, neighbor, to run projects in communities, neighbor, and then they know what they do with their overhead costs and do what they want to do, neighbor. They are the ones, neighbor, when time poverty is at a hard time high, neighbor, they can go seek funding to run to do poverty reduction programs and stuff like that. You know, they are the ones in teenage pregnancies at a hard time high. They benefit from these things, neighbor, because these people never know that the government always provide funding for these ills, for these social ills. And this is what a lot of them neighbor used to make them bread and butter off of. This is what a lot of them used to bank on. And with Jamaica moving forward, neighbor, international donors as well, neighbor, are not pushing any form of proposal for any crime and violence program in Jamaica, neighbor. International donor agencies are not pushing for any teenage pregnancy program in Jamaica, neighbor. International donor agencies, neighbor, are not pushing for poverty reduction programs to that level again in Jamaica, neighbor. So a lot of these persons who is coming out and speaking against the government, neighbor, a lot of these groups and a lot of these things, neighbor, they know why they are doing it, neighbor. Because the advancement and the upwardness of Jamaica, neighbor, set them back on a financial level, neighbor, because that is where they went and get their educational background in crime and violence. Everything was crime and violence one time. Everything was crime, everything was poverty, everything was that. So that is what their background is in, neighbor. And Jamaica is in that position now, where Jamaica has moved away from that, neighbor, and moving in a different direction, neighbor, and that is because of another problem in Jamaica. I believe in institutions, neighbor. I understand the politics, neighbor, but I also have respect for the governance. And the mere fact, neighbor, that I have respect for the government, that is why I delayed, neighbor, trying to politicize this whole thing. I'm trying to come out publicly and say the IC is corrupt or the IC is that. But I have come to the conclusion, neighbor, that I hold no political office in this land, neighbor. And I'm not a politician. I don't have to be politically correct. I think as a citizen, neighbor, I can freely speak my mind, neighbor. And I would definitely say, neighbor, that a lot of institutions in Jamaica, neighbor, have an hidden agenda to compromise this government, neighbor, or to try to shoot this government in some form of way, neighbor, to let the citizens of Jamaica turn against them, or to try to overthrow this government, neighbor. It is not right, neighbor. I have never seen this type of attack. I have never seen people being investigating people for 15, 20 years, you know? And there's a lot of questions with this IC thing, neighbor. Because I would like to ask IC if, you know, I would like to know, neighbor, if in their conclusion, in coming to Mr. Week to the charge for illegal or illicit enrichment, neighbor, what was an outside auditor? See, did they seek guardians of an outside auditor, neighbor? What kind of mechanism did they come to this conclusion? So there's a whole lot of stuff, neighbor. But the greatest thing, Mr. Week is not charged, neighbor. And I can't say what the Prime Minister must do, neighbor. I tell you before, I'm not going to pray.
Let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this, Scratchy. The Prime Minister has a matter before the court. He remains Prime Minister of Jamaica because he is entitled to due process. Dr. Wheatley is also entitled to the same due process that the Prime Minister is entitled to. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct.
If Dr.
Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Wheatley has not been charged with any criminal activity. Dr. Wheatley, as of now, remains an innocent man. Am I correct?
Yes.
Therefore, an innocent man is serving in the executive, which is the cabinet of Jamaica. Now,
yes,
whatever perceptions people have, Scratchy, because people have made allegations against me, which I have had to take to court. Okay?
Yes.
No, I am suggesting, Scratchy, that whatever political pressure is there, those people have their agenda, Scratchy. What the Prime Minister have to be focused on is what the law guides him to do. Prime Minister can't make decisions on opposition press conference and integrity and and pressure groups, civil society groups. The fact of the matter, Scratchy, is that Dr. Wheatley, as of now, has not been found guilty of any wrongdoing. And on that principle, Scratchy, I don't think that it will be fair to ask for Dr. Wheatley's resignation.
I get your point, neighbor, and I see that to a certain level as well, neighbor. But we have to understand again, neighbor, and put it in context, neighbor, and put it into the reality, neighbor, of Jamaica, how Jamaica operates and how Jamaica functions, neighbor. Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, has always been seen different from the People's National Party. Jamaica Labour Party has always been judged different from the People's National Party. And the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, is the government of the day, neighbor. Because Jamaica Labour Party is not in opposition. Where people might tell them the government, they can't do anything. Jamaica Labour Party is the government of the day, neighbor. Where the country is in a very critical state right now, neighbor. As I said before, where we have a lot of funding in terms of loans and grants, neighbor, that was given to us, neighbor. By
yes, Scratchy, but we have to encourage Jamaicans to think that we are a country of law, a country where justice is not a perception, it is a reality. And the point is, Scratchy, an allegation or a charge is not a judgment. A judgment is determined by a court. It's only when a court says you are guilty that you are guilty. Everything else, until that process comes through, must be treated. A man, Scratchy, is to be treated as innocent until he is proven guilty. Where is the proof that Dr. Wheatley is guilty of anything? The IC could have been there. The IC could make.
There isn't any direct proof from a court, neighbor, but we know, neighbor, our system has worked. We have seen, neighbor, in the Jamaica Labour Party administration, neighbor, from 2016 till now, neighbor. We have seen where other persons were asked to step aside, neighbor, to allow the process of the investigation, neighbor, without them even being charged or anything, you know. So it is a precedent in Jamaica.
So how are we going to change the civil society if we keep feeding into their ignorance?
By vindication, neighbor. By vindication, Mr. Wheat, neighbor, look, you have to understand, neighbor. One person action, neighbor, can bring down a whole political organization. Mr. Wheatley is not guilty, neighbor. So it is now up to Mr. Wheatley, neighbor, and he's in oneself, neighbor, to decide, neighbor, to say to him, boss, neighbor, with the Prime Minister. Mr. Prime Minister, I expect you to have all faith in me. I am telling you that I am innocent. The Prime Minister in return can say, I believe that you are innocent, but based on our political climate or political nature, I'm going to ask that you step aside for the time being and allow the investigation to be taken so that you don't violate the process. That no way, shape, or form has been still a member of the
you know something, Scratchy. NIA today, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I've looked at this matter today. NIA Principal Director of the National Integrity Action, Dr. Gavin Myers, believes Prime Minister Dr. Holness should do what he must to dispel any perception of corruption in his cabinet. No, Scratchy. Where is the perception of corruption in the Prime Minister's cabinet?
Yeah, man. There's always been perception of corruption whether which government is in power. Whether government or any party in power, the perception of corruption is always there. I see that.
But the you could perceive that I am a what? Yeah,
but perception is not reality. Perception is not reality.
Yeah, and I'm saying to you, we are feeding, we have fed Jamaicans this false narrative that once a man call you a batty man in Jamaica, everybody believe in us. A man call you a thief or a rapist. That is not how we build a decent and a respectable society. We have to help our people to understand what does the law requires, what does the law say. And I believe that on this matter, it can be a teaching moment for Jamaica, where we discuss with people that, listen to me, guys. The Integrity Commission did its job. Dr. Wheatley is entitled to his defense. Let the matter be aired in the court. Let's move on with the country in the meantime. They will have their day in court when the judgment is done and it is placed before the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister acts on that. Before that, I don't see what the Prime Minister can act on.
Well, neighbor, as I said last night, neighbor, I am not going to preempt what the Prime Minister can or cannot do. I allow the Prime Minister, neighbor, to do that, neighbor. And any decision that the Prime Minister make, neighbor, I will stand with whatever decision the Prime Minister make. The Prime Minister is the best person in the best position to make this decision. The Prime Minister is the one who understands, neighbor, where his administration is, where is it, and where we want to go with the administration, neighbor. The Prime Minister is the one, neighbor, who, at the end of the day, me and you carry the right here and talk. The Prime Minister is the one, neighbor, when he leave Parliament, 40 Mike is going to be in his face and asking questions, asking this and asking that. The Prime Minister is the one, neighbor, who donors or whosoever from the Labour Party who consider themselves as well-thinking Jamaicans will be calling and saying this and saying that too in regards to whatever is going on. So, neighbor, it's a whole lot of factors. It's a whole lot of factors. A factor that I alone cannot say this or say that. As I said before, this is up to the Prime Minister. This is what we voted in for. It's a level-headed person, neighbor. He's someone who knows what he's doing. And whatever discussion he have with Mr. Wheatley, neighbor, whatever discussion or whatever end result is come out of that discussion, neighbor, I stand with the Prime Minister, neighbor. Mr. Wheatley is not the first. Mr. Wheatley is a team player, neighbor. Mr. Wheatley is not going to know that he's not going to let whatever situation he is in there, neighbor, try to jeopardize the Jamaica Labour Party and government going forward, neighbor. And Mr. Wheatley, if he feel like said, even though he's innocent and he wants to step aside to go prove him innocent, he will do that because he's a team player. He's not a selfish man. He's not a man of the political organization for his own personal will. So, as we said, neighbor, it's up to them, it's up to the Prime Minister, and this is that is made, neighbor, that my Prime Minister that I voted for, neighbor, I stand by it and I stand with him 100%. But as me, there is not pre-empt, so the Prime Minister can't do this, I might do that, neighbor, but now I get caught up in that, and now I get dragged up in that. Now allow the process to the Prime Minister.
That's a fair position to take. Hold on a little bit for me. Please do not jump. Claudette Brown. Claudette Brown.
Good evening, neighbor, and your panel. Chops, what's up?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to you.
What I have to say, neighbor, is that the PNP and the IC are the cancer of Jamaica. Because they see that the government have a good turnout with the diaspora, the cleaner first come with this deportee thing, then the IC come with something to distract the people of Jamaica. They know that the government is doing good. So notice in a parliament, neighbor, every week the PNP, they obstruct parliament. Because they have an agenda. I remember the last conference that the Labour Party keep. What did the IC do this Sunday morning? Approve Mark Golin's statutory declaration to distract the conference. You remember that?
Yes.
Sunday morning, they put out. So they approve Mark Golin's statutory declaration. Just to distract it. Thank God, nobody they pay no mind. They have an agenda. Notice when nothing happened at the PNP. No, you know, see no group come out. Look at the big scandal with the mayor and Dayton Camper, the whole of them have money. Nobody come out. Everybody keep quiet. The set man in a parliament with the university and the dialysis machine. No group come out. Everybody keep quiet. But me want to tell the Prime Minister this. He better stand in ground. He needs to stand up to this white witch, Mark Golin.
Oh, he's a
foolishness. You understand? Me, Chaps, maybe you can pass on the message. Because me buy my ticket come to comfort for him. I need him to be a man and standing ground. I know serve up to Mark Golin and in cronies. You understand?
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
This is not right. The IC have an agenda. Just like how you have the Prime Minister and our approving in things. They have an agenda to bring down this government. And they believe so they can do that like what they do to Mr. Golin in 2009. But it not gonna work this time. They will try everything to bring down Anjo, the cleaner and the whole of them. And it not gonna work. They are wicked neighbor.
Well, you think that's what it is, ma'am?
Yes. They're up to something. They want to bring down Anjo, and because they know that now we're gonna do a good thing for the people of Jamaica, so they will try everything. Notice in a parliament every week. Mark Golin not talk to people them, you know. He sweet him up, Nikisha Birchall, they distract parliament.
Whatever amount, ma'am? Whatever amount you have?
Eh?
Whatever amount?
Let me say you notice say every week my calling that even I said to them
Oh, gosh.
themselves in a parliament. And the worst never see PMP party.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
The worst. What example they are setting for the children in the school?
Well, you know, ma'am, that is where I think we need to start, ma'am. I think if we do not clean up the parliament, there is no way we are going to move on as a nation, ma'am. I think that
those 28 come for distract and disturb and to make the government feel uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
The first one, they don't like Juliet as a speaker.
Yes, okay.
So every time,
yes, ma'am.
Angela Brownberg come in there, carry on and never carry on and carry. Nikisha Burchell, the video tape and all of them foolishness. No one, the Madam Speaker, for standing ground and put them out of the parliament.
Yes, ma'am. I think that's where we have to start, you know, ma'am. I think if we are going to fix our country, and I hear the Prime Minister talking about, you know, Jamaica becoming Singapore, Prime Minister, you don't become a Singapore with disorder. You don't. Singapore, ma'am, they said the Singaporean parliament was boring. Boring. Because when you went to parliament in Singapore, ma'am, you went there to discuss Singapore's business, not to distract from the vision of Singapore. And I'm telling you, ma'am, that the dream of becoming a Singapore, we no wake up yet. We need to wake up. That's only a dream.
Yeah, look how them are carrying.
Because if the parliament, ma'am, is so disordered, then what you say to the taxi men on the street, what you say to the students in the school, ma'am, when a legislator...
It's a disgrace. Mark Jefferson called it is a disgrace. And the worst, we never see this in our parliament before.
But you know, ma'am, I hear that they can't talk to Miss Burchell because secret will drop. So that is the big story I hear in tonight, that nobody can talk to her because she have secret with them, ma'am. I wonder who name will call what. You know, ma'am. Stay tuned, ma'am. Me say name about to drop. I'll picture me here say people have to pay money for picture lawyer get involved. Yes, ma'am, because you know something that they have a law, you know, ma'am, that if you and a person went into something private and you take off your clothes, you can't send it out, you know, ma'am. You can't send it out because you never get no agreement with the person to publish that and turn it into public consumption. But I have some information here, ma'am, that if it should have come out, massive problem in Jamaica, ma'am. But you know, it's a big story, that a big legal matter, you know, ma'am. You have to pay enough money.
Yeah, may I tell us that these PMP cronies, they are a disgrace, distraction, everything. I can't stand to see them in a parliament. I mean,
yes, ma'am.
Hate is a powerful word, but I hate them.
You hate them, ma'am?
Yes.
Oh God. You know we hate them, ma'am. Pray for them.
Because they do not come to do the people of Jamaica business. They come to disturb. They are a disgrace. I've never seen this before growing up.
Yes.
Our parliament is like, I don't know how to say.
But you know, ma'am, I hear that several male MPs over on that side wrap up in a one whole bangarang. One whole bangarang over there with some of them, ma'am. That boy, I tell you something, is a sad case. A sad case. Anyway, under pressure, ma'am. Time is against me. Take care of yourself.
Yes, man. Yeah,
Claudette Brown.
Chops.
Yeah. You know, before Jamaica becomes Singapore, Parliament needs to change. Parliament needs to become like an altar, ma'am, not an arena. Yes. Can you imagine, ma'am, Miss Burchell is in Parliament on her live? Ma'am, can you imagine that, ma'am? You know, I spoke to someone today who is old, And they told me, ma'am, that they have never seen the Jamaican parliament like this. They say it's the worst it has been.
Because of the 28 cronies. Because of them, they come to disrupt the parliament a week time. Because they don't like to it.
And then said, nobody over there can talk to Miss Burchell, ma'am. Nobody can talk to her. And I understand that they have tried, hold on. I understand that they have tried to ask her to and she said she not going to tone down. And when they push, she said, hold on. That's my understanding. You better leave me alone because you don't know, say me we talk. Well, I don't know what. I don't know what to talk about now, but that is my understanding.
In the history of Jamaica, we ever see the parliament in a disarray. Never.
Yeah.
Every week they come with their foolishness.
You know, ma'am, the way we conduct the people's business, it teaches the people how to conduct their lives. Parliament sets the agenda, ma'am. Parliament sets the agenda. And my understanding is that there are government ministers who are also recording Parliament with their phones. It's wrong for them too. You must stop it, guys, because you can't be expecting the other side to do what you are doing. You have to set the example, man. Not good. Not good for the government, not good for the opposition. Chaos in Gordon House, man, doesn't stay in Gordon House. When chaos breaks out in Gordon House, it breaks out in our streets. It leaks in our courtroom. Eh?
In the school.
In the schools, in the barber shop. Do you watch TikTok in Jamaica, ma'am?
Of course.
Do you know that I hear that the Jamaican TikTokers are among the worst in the world?
They are a disgrace.
You know, ma'am, I hear that the Jamaican TikTokers are among the worst in the world. How they behave on the app.
Of course, especially the PMP them.
As a matter of fact, I hear that
illiterate PMP them.
TikTok may be considering restricting its service here because of the nastiness that is coming out of Jamaica. And maybe stay some,
man, because they want them to look to get popular and to make money. They try to disgrace Andrew the most people on TikTok.
Yeah.
But the government needs to standing ground.
Yes, ma'am.
Love everything. And the next thing they want the government to do, if you have a person that come out and talk to the Jamaican people every day, if you lick down the line, them with the PMP, them are spread on TikTok.
Yes.
He needs some, like what they have it in the US.
Yes. Anyway, ma'am, I have to thank you. ma'am.
He need to do that.
Have to run.
All right. Have a blessed night.
Take care of yourself. Let's go to the man from out of the West. Mr. Media, Chops himself. Good night to you, sir.
Blessings, greetings to you.
Chops, let's start with the Parliament, Chops Media. Chops Media, what is going to be done to bring the Parliament to a place where the people's business is conducted in an arena of respect, decorum, and order? The Parliament, Chops, is out of control.
And I would say members of the Parliament is out of control.
Well,
because to be brutally honest with you, neighbor, I don't get that level of disorderly behavior coming from the government side. I'm not saying this because I'm biased towards the JD. It's just a fact. I think,
Yes, but the government is the government, and the government appoints a speaker. What is happening in Parliament, Chops Media, is unacceptable. How can a member be recording a live on her phone in the middle of the Parliament, speaking to her people, sitting in the Parliament on a live? The speaker becomes aware of it, and that member is not disciplined. Why?
You see, what I think needs to happen, neighbor, I think the speaker is towing a very thin line there by trying to be mindful that some of these persons are new to Parliament and perhaps don't know the rules. And I've seen on several occasions.
But Chops Media, that is no excuse. The fact is the matter that you can't go into court and tell the judge, oh, I don't know the rules of the court.
Yeah, and I know, I'm just saying to you, I look at what the speaker has been doing for the last few months, and I recognize that she's bending backward and jumping over hoops, trying to facilitate some of these new members who don't know and appear.
Yes, trust me, but when she corrects them, they rebel still. Look at Miss Burchell. Eyes on the speaker yesterday. Look how she looked at the speaker. She's doing something wrong. The speaker calls you out for it and say that is that, and you are going to make it appear as if, who are you to be correcting me?
Well, you know, I don't think you need to worry too much, because I can tell you what's going to happen. Let it not be said that you weren't warned. In the case of Miss Burchell, I think she has gotten several opportunities to curve her ways, and she chose not to. So I believe that the speaker is be well in her right to lay the hammer down on her. But the truth is, neighbor, I believe that the opposition is coordinated in their behavior. It is not by accident. It's not because they don't know. They appear as if they don't know. I think they are coordinated, and all the actions in Parliament is by design. It's not just pure coincidence or just outer. It is by design. They have come to the Parliament with an agenda to be disrespectful to the Speaker and to be as disruptive as they possibly can. If they can't have their way on an issue, they are going to disrupt the Parliament. That is their objective.
Fantastic.
And I think we don't want to get dragged into it, so we have to manage it in a way that still give priority to the business of the Jamaican people. Because
Fantastic.
that's what they want us to do, to get caught up in that, distraction tactics that they're bringing.
Yeah. Chops Media, I was called today, and as a matter of fact, I was sent a tape by the Secretary of State of the United States suggesting that the people that are to come out of the United States are some of the most despicable. His words.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw it.
Haven't seen it.
Okay. All right. I did not play it here because I think it could set the cats among the pigeons. Nonetheless, the government hosted a very successful diaspora conference, and I suspect I got a call out of the United States today suggesting that a lot of people in the diaspora are admiring Jamaica's progress and want to come back home. The government is on a roll, Chops Media. NARA is passed. NARA is now law. The CEO is appointed. Government is about to roll out a massive infrastructure project. There is talk in the Labour Party that the sights of a fourth term is quite probable. And of course, the opposition is on the back foot. All of a sudden, the opposition leader's statutory declaration is released. The leaks are coming out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Today again, we hear that the minister may have probably misled the Parliament. Audrey Mark's name has been called. Yesterday, the IC released a report suggesting that Cabinet Minister Wheatley be charged for illicit enrichment. The opposition today called in a press conference suggesting that they are going to call upon civil society to put pressure on the government. The narrative that Chops Media is now, do we focus on what the government is doing, or do we focus on the distraction? Contrived, Chops, or do you think that this is par for the course?
Par for the course. Let me say this to your neighbor. And I've used this analogy all the time. If you chase every dog on the way to your destination, you never get there. There's so much more important things to do in this country to get done, and that we are doing, than to really and truly spend a lot of time in trying to fight or to dispel what you cannot dispel. The PNP is organized. They don't have a country to run. They don't have anything else to do other than to come into Parliament and to try to find a way to create mayhem. Yeah? But all that you have laid out there, neighbor, is exactly what is happening in the space, and it is. I don't.
So it's
see
not it's
where-
not it's narrative framing, and they're ably assisted by media like the Gleaner talking about deportive
Yes.
deal. But then wouldn't you advise the government, as I have, to remain laser focused on delivering for the people of Jamaica? Just because the government don't have no question to answer really, even on this weekly matter. And I don't want you to go there yet, because I want to go there separately. Don't leave that here. Leave that here. But Chops Media, the government really needs to just deliver for the people of Jamaica.
That is the answer to all the issues. And if you stop and try to focus your energy on answering the PNP, then you will not get to deliver for the Jamaican people. And that's why sometimes I get a little bit edgy with some of my folks who are asking and calling on a day-to-day basis, saying, look, what are we doing? What's going to happen? And I keep saying to folks, do not get discouraged. Do not get caught up in what the PNP is saying and what they're doing. Because the truth is, what we need to focus on is all that is happening positive for Jamaica. Because the positive 10 times outweigh all the negative.
But aren't we all spoiled, my friend Chops? Aren't we all spoiled? Because here we are tonight. We started a series, the cost of chaos, and that's what we would have been discussing tonight had it not been that these stories have come to distract us. In terms of narrative framing, Chops Media, it is a powerful thing, because if we should keep on our series, maybe we wouldn't have 335 people listening to us. Probably they go where that has been taught.
No, neighbor, I tell you why you should have more than, you should have 3,000 persons watching it. Because if the Jamaica Labour Party is serious, and I shouldn't say if they are serious, because they are, but if they are listening to what is being suggested to them, in times like these, is when they ought to be on a program like Politics.
Like Mr. Morgan, you listen to Mr. Morgan in the house, the roads minister.
Excellent presentation.
Why is he not up here tonight? Look, let me discuss that.
Have you invited him?
Well, moderator. No, but you are right. You are right, Chops Media. Today the Prime Minister was launching the land something.
Yes.
Yeah. What was it?
He's actually, as we speak, he's actually at Rio in Montego Bay now at a function. They're celebrating Rio's. I don't remember if it's 20th anniversary, but he's down in Montego Bay right now delivering a speech. But I'm saying to you, neighbor, at this point, when the space is saturated with negativity coming from the PNP, we don't need to focus on talking.
And Mr. Golding's press conference.
Yes.
We don't need to worry about that.
No, there's nothing to worry about. The question I would ask Mr. Golding, why did you not call a press conference when the same or worse allegation, worse, not the same, worst, these were allegations of government money being misused and directed into a private entity by one of the members of parliament representing the PNP. Why was there not a press conference to deal with that?
Yeah.
So until you can deal with that sort of issue.
Yes, sir. And the Gleaner have to sell paper. They want to make money. Even nationwide, Even nationwide. Nationwide is in the business to make money. Nationwide. I am sure, hold on. I am sure that the nationwide salespersons yesterday were calling sponsors to sponsor 5 o'clock because this story was about to break. There's no question about it. That's how media operate. Okay?
They're licking their chops, man.
You understand what I'm saying? So if more of these stories continue to come out of the government, media houses benefit from it. Okay?
Neighbor, listen to me carefully. You know that the fact that the Jamaica Labour Party is in power for so long and is doing so well has put a lot of people out of business.
Oh Lord, you're telling me, sir?
It has sent a lot of persons in retirement.
You're telling me.
Did you know that?
I know.
Think
I know,
about it
sir.
for a moment. The harlot of North Street.
You don't know the corruption benefits the media.
Sir,
If there was a monthly corruption, you think so the Gleaner would have locked down? Come on.
Sir, 95% of all of those let me not say non-profit, but 95% of those civil society groups in Jamaica, and you can name the big ones, Jamaicans for Justice, Jamaica Media Portal, all of those persons are financed by European Union and other donors internationally. And they make their money when things are bad in Jamaica. And I say that without any fear of contradiction.
You're right.
Yeah? Any fear. Jeanette Calder, all of them, they make their money because their survival is dependent on donation from most of these European big countries. And what they present to them, they are excellent project writers, you know.
Oh yes.
And one thing I will tell you, one of the things that gets you into these organizations is your ability to write big projects to big donors and to identify where there are grants available globally.
Yes.
They are excellent at it. From Trevor Monroe, come right down.
It's actually selling it to the donors.
It's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Oh yes.
And what they sell to these donors is doom and gloom for Jamaica.
Oh, I've written some myself.
They have been riding on the back of criminality and murder rate in Jamaica for decades. They build mansions out of it, live lavish lives out of it, travel the world out of it, speak at big lavish functions all over the Caribbean.
Attend 7-star dinners.
Yes, telling people how bad things are in Jamaica and how much more money they ought to get. And the minute Jamaica start to break the backs of criminality and reduce murder by over 50%, you see a lot of them doors start to close. The harlot of North Street is a flagship for how success can defeat those persons. So I say that to say, I know a lot of persons, and I've had that discussion. I've been having this discussion all month, probably a few months now.
Yes.
Where persons are saying, you know, well, we have to step up our game. We have to step up our game on the counter to the PNP's narrative. And I sometimes sympathize with the persons who have that view. Sometimes even myself share that view.
Yes.
But when you do a real assessment of it, if I have $1,000 US today to spend, do I spend that $1,000 on fighting the PNP propaganda? Do I put a fact-checking machine out there to tell people that the PNP is telling a lie? Or do I spend that $1,000 US on spreading the prosperity gospel? Going out there and making sure that persons understand what government is doing. Going out there and making sure that people can tap into the benefits of government. How do I spend that $1,000? Do I spend it to chase down the dog on my way to my destination?
Not at all. Good night.
Or do I spend it in making sure I have a good vehicle to get to
Absolutely. Dwayne 009 in the UK. It is actually 3:14 in the UK, and Dwayne says he's up listening to us. Fantastic, Dwayne. Great night to you. Let's move over to to Dr. Wheatley. Chops Media. I think that Dr. Wheatley's case present an opportunity for Jamaica to learn about due process, and I do not think that Dr. Wheatley should either resign or that the Prime Minister should remove Dr. Wheatley from the cabinet. At this point, Chops Media, Dr. Wheatley is not charged with any offense. Dr. Wheatley has committed no crime. The only thing that is on the table is that the Integrity Commission submits a report, and Dr. Wheatley says, I do not agree with the report. I am going to challenge the findings of that report. On that basis, Chops Media, no matter what pressure Jamaica is put on the Prime Minister, we cannot govern a country on perception. I mean, perception is there, but I believe that the government of Jamaica is not on trial. The government of Jamaica is not accused of any corruption. Dr. Wheatley has a case. It is an individual case between himself and the Integrity Commission, which needs to be taken to the court, and it is going there. In the meantime, we get on with the country.
Absolutely. Any attempt, and I know my Prime Minister is a smart man, yeah? You have to realize the climate and the environment in which you exist today. And if it is that we're going to ask Dr. Wheatley to step aside, then it means that we'd have to ask the Prime Minister to step aside too.
Oh, I never want to say that. Hold on. I never want to say that, but I'm happy that you have said it.
There are some things that you just have to point it out.
Well, you say that again. Just say that again for me, Chops Media, because people who are asking for this need to understand that there are similar cases, here, huh?
That is our duty here, neighbor.
Yes.
Our duty here is not to speak about the people. Our duty here is to speak to the people.
Thank you. I'm very happy you said that, sir. I wanted to say it earlier, but I wasn't bold enough. I wasn't bold enough. Wow. Why I tell you?
The PNP will have to ask for the resignation of their own member of parliament and shadow spokesperson.
Yes.
Yeah? The Jack Den boss.
Yes.
You have to ask for him to step down as well.
Yes.
And a matter of fact, you would now set a precedent that
correct.
Any other individual a matter of fact, the Integrity Commission would now have the ability
absolutely
to decide which political party run this country.
Yes, in other words, all you need to do is to accuse somebody of illicit enrichment and take them out of the cabinet.
Bear in mind that one of the reasons why both the JNP and the PNP agreed at one point that there ought to be what is considered a gag order on the Integrity Commission, preventing them from naming persons
right
who are merely under investigation.
Yes.
Because that's what they used to do. And both the JNP and the PNP decide, say, look, we can't have this because it makes no sense. It makes no sense you go there and call somebody name about you're investigating them.
Yes.
Knowing that in Jamaica, just by virtue of you investigating somebody, it starts to give a perception that they are corrupt.
Yes.
And both political parties agree on that. Well, this is another moment where both parties must agree. Because the thing is, if you remove one, you have to remove all.
Absolutely. And in other words, right, you are going to set a precedent that once a person is named, that means that the whole cabinet could resign in another 2 years.
Neighbor, what you literally do is turn over a process of electing a government. You turn that over to a government agency who can sit in an office on Oxford Road and decide who runs this country.
Thank you.
They can do that without anybody interfering with them.
Yes.
What the bottom line, is that the Integrity Commission is a bad law.
Oh.
It was poorly written and should not have been executed in its current form. We have identified the problems, and I think what needs to happen is that the government needs to act with alacrity, move like right now, emergency.
But I thought that, is it that the Prime Minister, because he is personally involved here, is not minded to do this, because it must be done?
I don't think it's a matter of, again, one of the things that the Prime Minister tried to do, and I realize that this government is very good at that, is allowing the process to take its course.
Yes.
Yeah, and just to go back directly to Wheatley's situation, we tend to live our lives in Jamaica on perception.
Yes.
Dr. former Finance Minister said it in Parliament about a year or so ago, that Jamaica needs to stop living on perception.
I am happy for that discussion, sir.
Making our decisions
correct.
Merely on perception. An allegation, neighbor, is not a conviction.
Nor a charges. Nor is a charge.
Every citizen in this country, whether you're rich or you're poor, whether you're black or you're white, every citizen is entitled to due process.
Right? And even if somebody is charged, that is not guilty either.
Yes. Every citizen is deserving of that.
Right.
The courtroom, neighbor. The courtroom is where final decisions are made.
And I'm saying, Chops Media, that is the discussion that we must have with people, because maybe people don't even understand. They don't understand.
Well, you see, people, because we are wired up, Jamaicans don't like. Jamaicans are properly trained not to like politicians, you know. Right? Jamaicans are, it is a part of our DNA not to like politicians, because we have been consistently fed a steady diet of politicians are thieves and politicians are corrupt and government is no good. That is what we have been fed for decades. Civil society group, media houses, all of those persons have consistently made it seem as though politicians are the worst on earth. And nobody's having a conversation with a common man on the corner and make them understand, say, it is not true.
Right.
It is not true. A school principal today have the ability to be 10 times more corrupt than a politician. And I say that,
and a lot of people don't even know that. Or a manager of a bank.
Yes, a counselor in the municipal corporation has the ability to be 10 times, 20 times more corrupt than a government, central government
Minister.
Member of parliament or minister.
Right.
Right? Private citizens and private entities, I'm not going to say it this way, that they have the ability. Private citizens and private companies are 100 times more corrupt than politicians. I make it soak into your brain. The common man who is listening to us tonight, take that to your bank and you will get interest on it. Private businesses and individuals in Jamaica are 100 times more corrupt than a politician. Trust and believe when I tell you. But because we have been fed this diet by people who are corrupt.
Yes.
Because don't make no mistake about it, you know. The ones who are pointing at the politician as being corrupt, you know. Check them background, neighbor. Check them. The only reason they're pointing at politicians, you know, is because they don't want you to look at them. Take, for example, as we have been saying here, civil society organization, yeah, who go out there and sell Jamaica.
Yes.
Sell the product called Jamaica as one of the worst places on earth.
Yes.
Yeah? Trevor Monroe approached the farmer ambassador Tapia to tell him how corrupt the JNP is. And when Tapia asked him to provide the evidence, he could not provide any evidence to Tapia. What did Tapia do? Remove all aid to the NIA immediately. Immediately. When the NIA was formed and they were seeking affiliation with Transparency International. Yeah? Remember this. I want the common man to understand the beast that we're dealing with in this country. Because people take it for granted and believe when they hear these things. Oh God, social media burned down because there's somebody in government that will charge. Folks, calm yourself down.
Yes.
Calm yourself down. The Integrity Commission has never prosecuted one individual and sent them to jail yet. Not one. Right? The only person they have been successful in prosecuting are persons who are charged for failure to file.
Yes.
So what is failure to file?
Yes.
Let me tell you what is failure to file for those who don't understand. When the Integrity Commission tells you you must file your tax return by 10 o'clock on Monday, and you never file it until next month or next 2 months, or you forget one document or whatever. Simple administrative stuff is tantamount to failure to file. And they have caught a few persons on that charge and charged them $250,000 and them still sit in parliament. Dwayne Vaz is the last one. Dwayne Vaz of the PNP was the last one I can recall who was charged for failure to file, paid $250,000 and still in parliament. Nothing wrong with Dwayne Vaz. Because these things happen, right? You're talking about an entity. And what needs to be really focused on here, I know I'm going all over the place, but what needs to be really focused on is the fact that the country, Jamaica, taxpayer, me and you, the common man, our tax dollars is paying the Integrity Commission billions. I know we have some bright people in your comment section, or your moderator can probably find the numbers quickly for us. How much money out of the budget on an annual basis goes to the Integrity Commission for housekeeping matters, for paying those persons.
Yes,
why am I saying
it's
that?
a massive budget they have
I'm
there.
saying it in the context. I'm saying it in the context, neighbor. That if you were to look at the amount of money that we spend on the Integrity Commission, over $2 billion that we are spending on the Integrity Commission, and at the end of the day, the Integrity Commission takes 10 years to investigate an individual, and at the end of that 10 years, you come with some nonsense. You cannot even properly calculate a number. You come with fictitious number that when a little media house around the corner, take your number. Take your numbers that you present in a file and recalculate it. They find that your numbers are off.
Uh-huh.
Media house, they pour hole into an Integrity Commission with $2 billion to spend and can't buy a proper calculator to calculate for. This man, let me tell you, we need an Integrity Commission. Jamaica need an oversight body such as the Integrity Commission.
Yes.
Yeah? Well intended, well placed, we need to have it. But not in the current form that it exists. And the government need to move, the oversight committee need to meet and get this thing over with. Because it is not going anywhere. What we are aiming down, we are steering down the barrel of letting an organization have the ability to decide who run this country. That is exactly where we are looking at right now. Because if it is that the government were to act based on the Integrity Commission's report and civil society agitation and decide that Wheatley must step aside, then what it means, as I said before, they could do the same thing for the Prime Minister. They could do the same thing for the Jack.
It may very well be a setup. It may very well be a setup that get Wheatley, and then same circumstances apply. Prime Minister may have to go. Wow.
But yes, and we have to be very careful.
Yes.
And that's why, neighbor, I want to encourage my friends, especially those on social media.
Careful.
That, again, do not. I noticed, I saw this gentleman, and I hope his hacking phone get hacked. Neighbor, I am hoping that his phone got hacked. Yeah? This is one of our Labourite guy. I call him one of our Labourite friends. My good friend. Who is endorsing some of these propaganda by the PNP talking about need answers. Need answers for what? Need answers for what? Labourites need to start reading more. Focus, stay focused. You get distracted too easy. We get distracted too easy. The cleaner put out. Everybody know that the cleaner will take salt and turn it into wine. Everybody know that the cleaner will twist and turn every information that comes to them. They have done it. They have a track record of that. We know that when we see a headline from the cleaner, we need to read it 10 times to make sure that we are getting exactly what's happening. Because usually, 9 out of 10 times, the headline doesn't match what is inside of the article. And when the cleaner published this argument about 10,000 deportees coming to Jamaica and Labourites running with it, come on now. We need to start focus.
Absolutely.
There is more good things happening in this country. And I asked you a while ago, neighbor, if I have $1,000 to spend, do I spend it chasing down PNP propaganda, or do I spend it on ensuring that the average Jamaican understands what NARA is going to do for them? What does NARA really means? How will it impact your lives? How is it going to make sure that we rebuild this country? What
Then cabinet bilateral goal.
Why is Jamaica not as strong as Singapore? Why was Singapore here in the 70s looking at our model in the 60s and come out way ahead of us? What it is that we need to do to make sure that we get to Singapore? Does every Jamaican want to live like how Singapore lives? Can Jamaica be a Dubai? You mentioned it earlier, neighbor. can NARA assist in building out the infrastructure to give us the status to become a Dubai or a Singapore? These are the conversations.
That is where Jamaica today, as well I can't say, but I would say labor rights ought to be focused on the Prime Minister's aspiration and the job the Prime Minister is doing to get us there. Deliver for Jamaica, and I don't think there's a problem.
And neighbor, when you are having those discussions, right? That's a counter, you know. When you are having those discussions, then the government officials, right, who have the information, who have the desire and the capacity and want the same thing that we want, should make themselves available to come out and give support to programs like yours.
No.
And for the liberals who want to continue along the path of the propaganda and the nice running, stay over there. Government officials need to start supporting people who are supporting what the government wants to achieve.
Yes.
Again, check your pocket and you have $1,000. Who would you chase? PNP, or would you make sure that Jamaica understands exactly what
is narrative framing Chops Media and the narrative framing.
We have to frame the right narrative.
Absolutely. Want to thank you tonight, Chops. Great talking to you.
All the best.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm coming to member Harry, but I have astute.
My neighbor.
Influence. Affluence. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm just here going through my news feeds.
Yes.
Reading what's the latest happening, and I'm terribly disappointed.
You're terribly disappointed.
Terribly disappointed. And I am brought back to the conversation we had about the deportee deal when I said to you that no amount of clarification will change anything.
Okay, so what are you terribly disappointed about?
In the reaction to all this propaganda that is being put out in the media space.
You mean you are disappointed by the PNP people?
No. By the reaction of whom I think are well-thinking individuals.
Who are those people?
I see a lot of people who say they represent that consider themselves laborites, who have fallen for the trap.
Oh.
They have bitten the bait, and now they are saying they need answers. And as far as I know, and again, it comes back to civic literacy.
Yes.
The Constitution is the supreme rule of law. And under that Constitution, you have certain rights, one of which is due process.
Absolutely.
Additionally, every person who is charged, remember now,
and hold on, that law applies to Dr. Wheatley, to the Prime Minister, and to the bag juice man in halfway, and to the bag juice man selling bag juice in halfway tree.
Every single citizen of Jamaica. Now, I will point out also that under that same supreme law, there's what is called a presumption of innocence. Under that same supreme law, if a person is charged, mind you, in this particular case, nobody is charged. But I'm going to go as far as charged. If a person is charged with committing a crime, they are innocent until proven guilty. It is considered as the presumption of innocence. That means the duty is not on the accused to prove innocence because he's already innocent. The duty is on the person prosecuting, the person putting charges to the person being charged to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this person is guilty of a crime. Now, that didn't even happen in this case. Now, I don't want to repeat everything that Chops Media said because a lot of what he said I was going to say, but I will say this. You are able to allow some group to determine, to come with accusations, and then we as Jamaicans say, hey, he's been accused of this, so he should step down. It simply means that the political process can be circumvented.
Correct.
And the actions of September 3 would make no sense.
Correct.
And then how is that now a democracy?
Correct.
How is it now a democracy if a single group can circumvent that process? We cannot afford. My neighbor, I'm not going to say member because maybe a lot of people don't know. But propaganda has been one of the oldest tricks in the book.
You better believe that. You better believe that.
1935, the Nazi leader who massacred millions of people was a likable individual because of propaganda.
Yes, that's good. And I am arguing that irrespective of the political pressure of this moment, it must be a civic moment for Jamaicans. We must have a conversation with Jamaica about due process. We must have that conversation. We must get Jamaicans to understand that Dr. Wheatley is not guilty of anything up to this point. That is a fact.
I agree, neighbor, 100%.
Okay, and I don't know Dr. Wheatley. I'm not supporting Dr. Wheatley in any way. What I'm supporting is that this country is acting on perception. This is an emotive society, and it is wrong. It is wrong, sir. Okay?
Yeah,
Listen, democracy, sir, there are pillars in the democracy. And the judiciary is a pillar. And the judiciary is now going to have their say in this matter. Okay? That process must be completed. And when that process is completed, if Dr. Wheatley is found to be guilty, Dr. Wheatley should immediately be removed from the cabinet. Until that is done, Dr. Wheatley is to report for work as usual. No pressure.
Neighbor, what people don't understand, this set a dangerous precedence, because all a person has to do if they don't like you is make an accusation. That is why due process is in place, so that if I, as an upstanding person in society who began from humble beginnings, who came from humble beginnings and started to progress the social ladder, if somebody decides that they don't like my progress, they can just accuse me and I lose everything. That cannot be right, neighbor.
No, sir. You cannot condemn a man on an allegation. You cannot condemn a man on an allegation. A man is to be presumed innocent until he is proven guilty. And even if Dr. Wheatley is charged, that don't mean Dr. Wheatley is guilty. A charge only means that there is sufficient evidence so that the matter moves on to be tried. To be tried. It is a court that determines guilt or innocence. A court, and that court is not the Integrity Commission. It is not.
Neighbor? One moment, please. Please allow Chumps to speak.
Okay.
I just want to talk to you real quick, neighbor.
Yes.
I'm sorry for jumping in there as you, but I came in at the perfect time, because I wanted to say to you, one of the reasons why I said that about the Integrity Commission, and if we're not careful, you give them the ability to overturn a duly elected government or a duly elected official. And let me just say this to you, because a lot of Jamaicans don't understand. These things are not limited to politicians or to so-called rich people up in Beverly Hills and Jackson. Yeah? You just mentioned it, astute. You just mentioned it, neighbor. That due process is for every single Jamaican. In the election last year in 2025, the Integrity Commission would have gone on an investigative journey into at least 2 entities in this country. And most people know me, and most people would have seen me around, and most people would have associated me with the Jamaica Labour Party. And I have no shame in my game. I am a Labourite, and that will never change until the day I've left this earth. Never change. And if I tell you that in their pursuit, in their investigation, remember I don't work for a government entity. Yeah? One of the questions that were asked in both entities by the investigators was about me. Do you
Yes.
know this man? How many contracts did he get here?
Uh-huh.
That's the questions that were asked of those entities. I don't know these persons. I have no reason to get a contract from those places. But I happen to know persons who work for the entity. And that was the question. Why am I saying this? What's the relevance of it? I'm saying this to say that any Jamaican at all, any little PNP blogger, and might I say GLP blogger too, can pick up their phone tomorrow morning and call the Integrity Commission and give them a story, credible or not, about neighbor. That I believe that neighbor is getting some government contracts from a company and he might be illicitly rich.
Yeah, oh Lord. Yes.
Right? And just by virtue of that, the Integrity Commission, who has been paid over $2 billion of taxpayers' money, will take that call from a guy who can't even decipher red different from green. But he will take that report and act upon it and go and ask about neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah? I'm saying it to say to you guys that the way how the Integrity Commission works, it's not like they need any smoking gun. All they need is a simple phone call from John Tom, who don't like neighbor, to say, I believe that neighbor works for a government entity and he's corrupt. And here's why I think he's corrupt. They just build a story. They just build a story. And neighbor will be investigated. And if it is revealed that neighbor is being investigated, then automatically neighbor will be called a criminal.
Yeah.
Whether due process was followed or not, neighbor will be called a criminal. I've never said this to anybody before. But I think we need to say it because people need to understand that the reach of the Integrity Commission does not stop at Belmont Road or Old Hope Road. Any Jamaican can get grabbed up into all of this for investigation. Even when you have absolutely nothing to do with anybody and any illicit enrichment or any siphoning off of government funds. But because of how poorly structured the law and the sort of space that they are given to maneuver, they can do these things and walk away. Justice is not just for a few. It is for everybody. Every single Jamaican deserves a chance to go before a court or a jury of their peers and be given a chance to be heard. Nobody should be judged based on perception. A case must not be tried in public media.
Absolutely.
Social media, which
right.
Doing, right?
Absolutely, sir.
These cases in social media, and because people are bully pulpit and can come out and call press conferences, they believe that that is sufficient to get people to move away. If
Absolutely.
we start to set a precedent where the Integrity Commission can decide who sits in Parliament, then that is going to be the end of our democracy. Trust and believe me. Blessings again.
Blessings again, Chops Media. Astute?
Yes, neighbor, I was about to say, we cannot afford to be carried in the court of public opinion.
Yes.
And that is their modus operandi. That is how they approach.
As a matter of fact, sir, I mean, after tonight, this matter should not even be coming back up here unless you know, the Integrity Commission or a court brings in some other additional. This is not a courthouse, sir.
Neighbor, if I may, I hear you say it. You've said it more than once, and I think today more than ever shows the importance of civic literacy. And we need to use this platform to do that because, neighbor, I am telling you,
yes, sir.
We cannot afford to go back to the 90s.
Yes.
We cannot afford it, neighbor. We cannot, our very lives.
Yes, depends on it. Yes, you're right,
our
sir.
Very lives. We cannot sit back. Those who know better
yes.
sit back and allow those who don't know better to decide our futures for us. We cannot allow it, and we should use every resource within our in our retinue to ensure that we move forward, we progress this country, and we move to Vision 2030. Because, neighbor, people hear about Singapore and Dubai, but they only probably see it on TV. But if they should do the reading, if they should read how those countries come to prominence.
Yes, and it is part of our conversation because the Prime Minister has brought it into the conversation, and that is why we are keeping it on the agenda, because it is important that we understand that if you are going to get there, and what is the difference between them and us? They have a per capita GDP of $88,000 US. We under 7,000. How do you get Jamaica to prosper? You people listening to me there, how do you get out of the poverty, right? Or even live a better life? You know what Singapore is like, right? They don't have these type of discussions on their social media there. They don't. But we are here.
I was just saying, I'm just saying, point to note, they came to independence 3 years after Jamaica.
Yes, 1965.
Yeah, and you can't even spit on the streets in Singapore. You can't come and throw it on the road. That is the kind, and look in our parliament, look at the actions of our parliament.
So I was telling the listeners earlier that they consider the Singapore parliament boring because they didn't even laugh in there. There was no joke. You wouldn't find the Singaporean parliamentarians laughing. When they went to parliament, it was to sign off on some bill about the Singapore country. Very, very serious matter that was happening. We spent 20 minutes yesterday, more than 20 minutes. Parliament had to be suspended because the opposition members stand up on their foot and they wouldn't sit down. And the speaker had to suspend the parliament. The nation's business suspended because the PNP decided that they want to talk. Mr. Campbell was saying, make him not get it talking. That's what I want to see. Make him not get it talk, ask for him question in the parliament. I want to see what's happening here. We're not serious about development, so we're not serious about pushing forward with this. But we must. We must.
Neighbor, another point you have to understand, because I was scrolling through the interwebs today and I saw a TikToker with over 200,000 followers hitting out against the government, saying how the government are bringing 10,000 people who are criminal and them are going to start, and you're going to see the percentage of rapes and murder skyrocket, and people need to do something about this. Now, neighbor, you see let me show you how dangerous this social media can be, and why we as well-thinking people with the platforms we have to go there. Now, imagine a person with 200,000 followers saying something. Remember that, and only Jamaicans alone, I see when him say that, and people all over the world. Now, imagine 200 people all over the world, and then that is echoed. The multiplication effect at 200. And remember, falsehood spread so much faster than the truth. So we cannot relent in our pressing forward of Vision 2030, neighbor. We have to do everything in our power, within our resources, to push this forward.
Thank you.
I stand for it, neighbor.
Thank you so much, Affluence. Member Harry?
Yes, neighbor.
The rest of the program is yours, you know. I don't know what you want to do with it, but I'm going to give it to you. I think you have a lot. I think you have a lot to talk about. You still have scratching with you. I think Honeybee and them main. I'm going to take a break and turn it over to you, sir. Yeah, remember?
Well, yes, neighbor. Good night, everybody. Caroline, Stuart, Scratchy, Honeybee, everybody else. You know, when I tweeted to Parliament, neighbor, I was going to dub listening to that sectoral debate Road to Singapore. And pun intended with the road, because I think what the People's National Party and the Integrity Commission alike has been successful in doing is to distract the people of Jamaica from a necessity, a staple in society. Everybody been asking for roads. Everybody wants to know what's happening regarding roads and communication lines. And the sectoral debate would have given Jamaica more than just an insight. It gave full details as to what is exactly happening to the very thing that they've been calling for. But that was derailed by what the People's National Party did, stemming from, you know, the whole Nikisha Burchell thing, which I think really and truly, neighbor, is downright disgusting. Right? I think I'm not even making pardon for she being a first timer, because ignorance does not absolve you from the rules that you should uphold. And as such, I think it's about time she's named and made a lesson of. Because, neighbor, I don't see any parliament and parliament alike around the world where you see a member taking out them phone and a video and do all manner of things except carrying out the responsibilities and duties that they were appointed to, or rather elected to. Because taking out your phone and going on social media and saying, oh, you're not being able to talk, is not what your constituents voted you for.
Yes.
You're supposed to go there and deal with real matters, the people's matter. And I can bet anybody, if any PMP surrogates and so on wants to come and challenge me on that, nobody from our constituency never tell her, say, oh, we want to see you go live in Parliament. Nonsense. We can watch it on BBC, YouTube, and everywhere else. We don't need that from somebody. And it's about time, neighbor, I believe we strike out the common factors. You know, when them say you're a common boy and you're a common girl, there are certain attributes that don't uphold in certain environment.
Yes.
And I think that is what we're seeing more and more from a lot of the newcomers, specifically from the People's National Party, who think it's cute and it's funny to disrupt Parliament when it's about the people's matter. Commonness has no place in our Parliament. It never did before, and it never should ever be allowed to do so. And I think by now, neighbors, we should have criteria for who gets to go on a ballot box for people to vote for. Too much commonalities are there, neighbor, and I don't care who want think what. There are just certain characteristics and attributes that should never enter Parliament. Because what I'm getting to see is something that the rest of the world is seeing, and nobody will take you serious.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
And what you do, you don't just degrade yourself, because nobody cares about what her self-worth is, neighbor, to her. You degrade the other women in Parliament who have fought hard, who are qualified, who has upheld the standards of society and uphold the very regulations and policies within the Parliament. And you make somebody who, neighbor, is a reason why the common man is not in Parliament, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
And with all due respect to the common man, because I'm a common man, neighbor. And if that was the case, anyone we can go walk in a Parliament.
Well, I hope that one day I will see you standing up in the Parliament, sir. I do.
Well, it definitely won't be with certain persons across the floor from me.
No, seriously, I really think that you'll be a fantastic parliamentarian, and the future of Jamaica. I'm happy, sir. You give me hope that Jamaica is in good hands. You are one of them that I think is a fine Jamaican young man. Go ahead.
Neighbor, I don't think that they would be able to handle me in there, the neighbor. But but the truth about it is that this is the first time for me watching Parliament, and I've been watching Parliament from age 10, neighbor, as it intent, with great intent. Because sometimes I never have a choice. My father used to watch it, and I was around him. So, I just clinged on to it. But watching it intently, this is the first time I can hardly identify statesmen and stateswomen in an opposition, which sends a very poor message to those who aspire to the highest levels in society. And the parliament, and being a representative of the people, used to be upheld as one of the highest levels, held in high standards. But it seems now, based on the actions and lack thereof of the opposition leader, they can pick up anybody from out the street and put them in a orange shirt, and people go vote for them.
That is concerning. You're correct, sir, that we need to screen those persons who are to represent us in the House of Parliament, because who to tell what we will end up with? Who to tell?
Exactly.
Yeah, they are very as a matter of fact, there are not only concerns. I think there are concerns in the party itself that enough is not done to make sure that representatives of the people are of a particular standard. And what we are witnessing here now is, I don't know, it doesn't reflect well on the society.
Neighbor, it is giving the feeling when you hear of these disruptions. Yes, if the disruptions were valid, if they were just valid in a neighbor, if we could have verified the validity of these disruptions, to say, okay, we understand, we get it, we can follow the due process and continue.
Yeah.
But a lot of these disruptions are nonsense. It's just pure distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it also happens at the local government level, Harry, because some of the councillors are woeful.
Neighbor, we should be happy. A lot of those meetings don't ever reach publications, right? Because I think Jamaicans would really and truly be disgusted by what is happening. But it sends a message, neighbor, where anybody can become, and it's not the good message where we used to look at our future generation to say you can become anything you put your mind to. Because we need to understand that to get to something like this, there are certain characteristics, there are certain attributes you should have, and there are certain behaviors that you have to exercise. I am not seeing many of those at all from the opposition.
Absolutely.
And I'm somebody who bats for a good opposition, neighbor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because
you're dead right.
Now, when I look at it to realize that this is distracting from major news, like, neighbor, it's the first time in Jamaica's history we have had 109 roads rehabilitated.
You mean the minister's presentation?
Exactly. Neighbor, it was an impressive one, neighbor, and I mean, we're getting to the point where we're used to top quality presentations from the current administration. But the level of information that was given, I think, answers so many questions that Jamaicans have. Down to the common man, the day-to-day, down to the taxi man who run the road every morning. And these questions were answered in that debate. But I can tell you, neighbor, if you ask Jamaican citizens, name me 2 things he spoke about, just 2, them can't tell you. But if you ask them for the story coming out of the parliament, they're going to tell you about IC, and they're going to tell you about Nikisha Burchell. And it shows that our priorities has been coined and has been twisted by, as Traps would have put it, the business of media. Not the art of journalism, but the business, neighbor. And it sends a very poor message again. it is shaping our society. Because tonight I'm apologizing to the critical thinkers of society, the few that are remaining in terms of percentage. I think I have to apologize, and I also want to apologize to the rest of the world who watches our parliament, right? And who views Jamaicans on social media. Because neighbor, the more I go and I look and I scroll and look at comments, I think Jamaica critical thinking levels is about 10% in a neighbor.
Sorry, member. You are making a very strong point there. 10%, member.
Of course, neighbor. And not because somebody have a piece of paper we call degree or diploma or associate, that don't make you a critical thinker. It just tells us you can sit down somewhere and write one paper, spend one 2 months, 3 years, 4 years to get a degree or so on. It doesn't speak to your critical thinking levels. Because when I look at people who I think and I thought were critical thinkers, who were intellects, I don't get that from them, neighbor. And it's not about them trolling, because you don't have, when you look at people, you know their mindset the more they speak. So you give them the rope to hang themselves
Remember, if you are making that observation, then remember we are in worse trouble than I thought we were.
Neighbor, the study shows that every generation in humankind gets better than the previous one until this generation. And I'm not bashing the current generation in a manner to say they are lesser than. I'm also putting the onus on the generation before them to say we failed them and we continue to fail them. Because when you look to see that we can't have proper conversations about a simple matter, barring whichever color somebody wants to be, or whichever side of the fence they sit on, right? We cannot have proper conflict resolution either. Neighbor, I go under a post and I see so many different things, and I would, if I was Jamaican and I didn't follow up the story, I would have thought Andrew Wheatley lost in court. I would have thought he was convicted of something. I would have also thought he take taxpayers' money. Because the narrative running around in Jamaica is emotive, right? It's all about the sensationalism. And I get to realize that, neighbor, we have a lot of lunatics. And I won't take back that up. We have a lot of lunatics.
Lunatics, member.
Of course, neighbor. And a lot of self-praise and self-made experts in areas that knows nothing.
Member said they are lunatics. Wow.
And this is the problem I have with it, neighbor. Everybody who has a device think they are an expert in something. They believe that their belief is true. I used to this talk about my truth and their truth. No gossip, man. It is only the truth. And no matter how I feel about it, I don't care about what your feelings says.
But member, who trouble you today?
Neighbor, it's about time we set the record straight, neighbor.
Oh, remember, a lunatic is coming from that word lunar, which means that them kind of operate around the cycle of the moon. Depending on which what the moon is, that's how them.
You never hear people talk about what sign you be.
Yes.
And because I'm a sign.
So it depends. It depends whether it's a full moon or a half moon or what. That's how they operate. They are lunatics.
Neighbor, everything is about the emotions that they get from something. How I feel about it, not about what the fact says. Because look at it this way: if what the IC puts forward for Andrew Wheatley is almost conviction, because that is how they give it off, you know.
That's the IC. That's the IC.
Yeah. And they hide behind, we recommend. It's just like how people hide behind allegedly.
Yes.
The IC hides behind, we recommend. Recommendation. recommendations. And I said it last night. You cannot, your recommendation is not valid if your numbers are wrong. They're your numbers. Nobody never doctored them for you. But your very own numbers are wrong.
You are saying that the IC's numbers are wrong, Harry?
They are, neighbor. I went through, I'm not finished with the full 89 pages because it's going in a chronological order. But what I can point and show the commonality.
Oh?
If people can convict Andrew Wheatley to say illicit enrichment, and the IC numbers is roughly about between 14 to 16 or 17 million different. So the actual figure.
Are you telling me that the Integrity Commission, in their report, that the figure they post is not correct?
It's not correct, neighbor.
No, but then how could the IC make such a mistake? Then the IC probably ought to withdraw this report. How do they mistake?
And that is what many persons have missed. And if you listen to the conversation last night with what I had with Perino neighbor, he deemed Gleaner as credible and of integrity. But when the very numbers were quoted and when the very recording was provided, because of the media house that says it, who did the calculation? Gleaner didn't do no form of calculation. Gleaner not even report on it in that manner. But when we draft up the numbers, because I looked back at them this morning, right, and saw that it was off, but nobody speaks of the fact that the Integrity Commission got their very own investigation wrong.
Oh my God.
I said that to say this. I can accuse Mark Golding of illicit enrichment too.
Oh, how you could do that?
Neighbor, which vehicle you buy last year has the same valuation this year?
Well, you could spruce it up, add rims and things up with, put in a nice sound.
Neighbor, no insurance company will hold the same value. Right? A vehicle depreciates every single year.
Yes.
Just at different percentage. The first 5 years is high percentage. Roughly 40 to 50% of its value is lost. Mark Golding in his thing has a 10.48 or $10.8 million vehicle which he drives every day.
Yes.
And he reports it constant at that figure. Neighbor, I have my vehicle and when I do my evaluation, I can go to the insurance and tell them say value.
But what if he puts in a nice sound system in it that don't value?
Neighbor, does Mark Golding look like somebody who spruce up a car to you? This is your day-to-day vehicle.
Well, I don't know. What if maybe he puts in a gold on the dashboard, a little gold thing here, a little gold thing there. He's a man of wealth. Who you don't think?
A man of wealth who has less than $1 million US, neighbor.
Is that so?
It is so. 900,000 US. He's reporting in the IC.
What you say, Jimmy?
Of course, neighbor. Right? No, when you look at it now,
is it likely that he may have put in a refrigerator in the van? Yeah, well, champagne.
I said this to you, neighbor, to show you that I can accuse anybody based on the numbers.
Yes.
And I would now ask Mark Golding to step aside. I don't care if he's a dollar, it's illicit enrichment, And I can use that as evidence. They can't prove me wrong. Right? And then we would have to ask Mark Golding to now remove himself, just as how he's asking. Well, not asking, he's telling, because I listened to the press conference as well. He's telling that Andrew Wheatley should be removed. A man was not being charged, a man was not being convicted of anything, a man was not touched the coffers of the government, a man also who has not utilized any resources from the government also. Now, the IC said they don't think what was submitted by Andrew Wheatley is sufficient. They said it, it is not sufficient. No, they thought the same thing of the Prime Minister. They went ahead and get a $30 million Jamaican investigator and auditor, didn't they?
Yes.
Then how can I trust the IC now? Neighbor, remember I tell you that they're incompetent in carrying out their proper job descriptions, Many persons would say, listen, the tie to the PMP, whatever, I took a different turn. Because I can look between more than one lens to find the truth.
What are you seeing, Member Harry? You are a man that does research. You have read the report. You look at the figures. What is it that we should make of this?
Neighbor, the IC needs retraining. And when I say the IC, not the institution itself, the individuals who are at the helm. I've asked for it before to say that I strongly don't believe they are competent enough to carry out their day-to-day operations at a certain level. And both the Prime Minister's reports and Andrew Wheatley's is showing that. And neighbor, I mean, I like when we write on certain things, and this is one of them. So when you look at it, it shows that if you don't think it is sufficient, you can't add it to it. You have a doubt in your very own system. Why not outsource again? You did it for the Prime Minister. This is a sitting minister now. If you so want the truth to be shown to the people of Jamaica, and in order for your recommendations to be accurate, you need a third eye. They've set the precedents to do so. Is it that the Prime Minister is more important? His statutory declaration is more important than anybody else's? No. They all are subject to the same standard if the goalpost isn't moved for the standards. Because what I'm seeing now is that, for the Prime Minister, you're willing to spend $30 million of Jamaican taxpayers' money because you didn't think what he provided is sufficient. And when you got the report from that independent auditor, you still weren't satisfied with that person. But you didn't do the same thing for Mr. Wheatley. But you made recommendations. And that is why I said, neighbor, when you are in these sectors, when you're in these institutions, there's we call it rubric, but there's a standard outline that you have to follow. And because what Mr. Dabdo have spoken about is to say that the IC is unable to handle real estate issues.
Yes. And
I don't doubt them on that. Because when I went through and I listened to the recordings and looked back at it, the reporting of the business venture, the joint venture where Mr. Wheatley was unable to hold up his end of the bargain, right, for the payment and so on. He was then, the apartments were sold, and he was then provided, some call it gifts, that's the word they use, which is not uncommon, because I know a few realtors from my field. So it is not uncommon, and it is typically a reimbursement as to the section that he would have stood in that deal. Nothing is wrong with that. Standard practice in real estate. But the IC did not think that was sufficient. So it simply means you're judging on something you have no idea about or not competent enough. So then you go and get somebody else. Because we all want the truth, and I have no problem with the Integrity Commission as an institution. I have a problem with those who sit at the helm who are showing that they are competent enough to carry out the job description in front of them effectively, fairly, and balanced, so we can all get the truth. And they're falling to the standards of what we're seeing with journalism in Jamaica, neighbor. The two don't go separate. It is hand in hand. We have a media house. Well, not media house. We have media houses that are poor at providing proper journalism to the people of Jamaica, which starves them of the truth. And we now have an Integrity Commission who wants to sway what happens in government and governance overall. Neighbor, it's a dark day for Jamaica. And it's not something we can sit idly by and just let it pass. Because what we're doing now is threatening our democracy. The same democracy we will fight tooth and nail for. It's not perfect. But we cannot let a selective few decide who aren't elected by nobody. The people never vote for them, never live on no ballot box. They're not in parliament. However, they are answerable to parliament. And for the third night straight, I'm asking for the government ministers, I'm asking for the government who has the majority. Pull the IC to parliament. They are answerable to you. Let the people of Jamaica investigate the IC now. Let us know exactly what is happening. Bring out the rubric, the methodology that they use, so we can scrutinize it as well. Because we want to know, how do we get to certain figures? We also want to know, what do they do? Because remember, it's over 100 investigation that was done on Andrew Wheatley alone in a neighbor.
100?
Just to get to over 100 neighbor, just to get to this conclusion. And I think heavily that we have to put the Integrity Commission under the microscopic lens, because they've been heavily accused of influencing our election or attempting to do so, right? And they should be an independent body.
But how could that accusation even be made, Harry? How could they influence our election? How?
Neighbor, on what grounds does the IC stand to not certify the Prime Minister? Have the IC provided any clarity as to why the Prime Minister is yet to be certified? Remember, we've only been getting snippets from it. They've not even defended their position. Because, neighbor, if you're if Politics Plus Network is accused of having a hand in a major decision, we can't keep our mouth shut. There's a position to be defended or provide clarity. The IC has done no such thing. So they've let it run by while proving the allegations true. So now you have to be put under that microscopic lens by the people. And we have to bring them to Parliament, neighbor, because, as like I said, we want to know the methodologies used. Because I'm not saying this because of what is happening regarding Prime Minister Andrew Wheatley. It may very well be beneficial to the opposition, because when names start call, I'm not preempting anything, but when names start call, I don't want none of them come ball in front of nobody TV. I don't want to see them on no live, because you were there running with this narrative and running behind Mark Golding to remove this person or remove that. And Mark Golding needs to also understand that he's walking on thin ice. Very thin ice.
Yes.
Don't let the bright lights in the conferences that he sees or the favorable questions. Because I listened to the questions as well, and I wondered why not just pack up and leave, because these questions makes no sense from these journalists, right?
Yes.
It's almost like you are spoon feeding. And I don't spoon feed no politician. I guess because that is why we don't ever have anybody from the opposition coming on our program.
Well,
we probably would have to do what Mr. Perry did with Mark Golding, give him the questions and then, pretend. And that is not me accusing Mr. Perry. He said it himself.
Yeah, yes, he did.
So, when I look at it, neighbor, it is time we as the people take it in our hands to call for what we want. We need to ensure that we uphold a certain standard, because the road to Singapore or road to Dubai, whichever we want to use, starts now. Both literally, thanks to Lester Morgan and the administration, right? There is Spark 2 that's coming, right? The Prime Minister has asked for that, because of course it's only running for 2 years, neighbor, and they did 109 roads. Hats off to them. Congratulations. They're doing what their job description says they should do.
Yes.
So it is not a praise to them. But what also was pointed out, neighbor, and we'll go into this some other day, just touching it, is to show how we got there to be able to afford to do 109 roads in a year.
Yes.
Right? And I look at it, NWA get a whole heap of beating, neighbor, and I learned from that sectoral debate that only approximately 5,000 kilometers of roads in Jamaica is under NWA ownership. But NWA get the biggest beating of any other institution when it comes down to communication lines. And these are critical information that people need to know, so we can direct our concerns to the right entities. And that's one of the things that has hurt Jamaicans as well. Sometimes we have concerns and we don't know who we go to. We accuse the wrong institution. I mean, I can tell you, NWA get it bad. But the road to how we got here needs to be studied, and we will have to touch on it to enlighten. But it is a sad day again, neighbor, when I look at what is happening in our country. And then I look at my spouse earlier today and say, listen, Jamaica, if we're not careful, that my daughter will have to contend in. Very worried.
Oh my.
Because I look at the foolish statements, the foolish perspectives, and I give people grace. A lot of it sometimes, maybe more than they do deserve. But I look and to say, these persons who are older than I am were shaping my future. And look where we are. Thank God for the current administration. I want to ensure that I play a part to shape her future. And every children like her coming up next. But that work starts now. That seed is planted now so she can get the shade. I'm not relying on those people. But when I listen to some of these people, you know, I wonder how we were able to be resurrected based on these perspectives. I know how we were starved of proper leadership just by listening to them. And I don't want to see that for the next generation coming. But everything has to be started now. We have to push back at a lot of things. It's not easy. Bujubandan, it's not an easy road. But it's a road we have to trod. And we have to hold every and anybody accountable, institutions and individuals. I'm not even going to touch on civic society because I said it. There's none. None whatsoever. They can all come out and tell which political alignment they are. I think I tell they should do it to uphold dignity and some level of pride. Because they're a bunch of cowards. Because I can declare on a policy where I stand. For example, I support NARA. Can these civic societies come out and truly say what they support, not who? What policies they stand by? What type of Jamaica they want to see? Not what kind of political affairs they want. Because if it was up to them, we wouldn't move as a nation, neighbor. We would still be stuck. You think bureaucracy is a problem? Check these civic societies. They ensure that certain things remain as stable in society because it benefits them. And I want them to be removed. Go and support your political party or your political affiliations. Go. Don't be cowards and hide behind specific names. Don't create pretty names. But we know where you stand. You're a bunch of cowards. And you don't want Jamaica you don't mean Jamaica well. You want yourself to be well in a dilapidated Jamaica. And I will never take that statement back. Because that's exactly what they've been doing for decades upon decades. But we have someone and we have an administration, neighbor, who wants to see Jamaica go forward. Are they perfect? No. No man is perfect. No government is righteous. I hope Mr. Perry is listening. But we see them doing work. We want the due process to be followed. We want systems. We want frameworks to work. And we want to have confidence in these things. We don't want confidence in no specific man. Gone are the days when you hear people are praise a man. You realize the People's National Party can't speak about Percival James Patterson? Everybody runs with Manley, even those who never have one clue about Manley. But they know, neighbor, that they are becoming obsolete. The Jamaica of tomorrow is not what they can survive in. So they rather fight for the Jamaica that was. And a man that was cannot be a man that is, neighbor. Because you have to advance yourself. And we do it collectively. We do it in a manner that is just, pushes equity. Because not equality again, pushes equity. And pushes opportunities for those who are here and those who are to come. That is the Jamaica that is being built. And we have to fight for it with everything we have, neighbor. to the very last breath.
Mm.
And that is where I yield with it.
Well, sir, wow. Listeners, we're going to head to the close. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you are on YouTube. If you are on X, thank you so much. Please also remember that your support is necessary so that we can continue to bring this show to you every weekday, Monday to Friday. Our Zelle account is 954-635-8732. That's 954-635-8732. Want to thank you so much for your support, and we ask you to consider seriously sponsoring our program if you can. We have some other callers online. We will take them before we have to wrap. Them main topic. Are you there? Them main topic? Not there. Honeybee, are you there?
Yes, neighbor.
Thank you for your patience.
No, man, it was very, very, very useful to listen to. Always good to listen to Harry.
Oh yes.
Yes, always good. Neighbor, you see, the people of Jamaica need to be careful.
Yes.
Of the court of public opinion.
Absolutely yes.
And if they continue, you see the same thing they did with the Prime Minister, as Harry said. They did it with Dr. Weekly. And let me tell you, in my opinion, why they went after Dr. Weekly. You remember that Petrodrum situation?
Well, yeah.
You see Dr. Weekly as somebody that they could pick on and get away with it. Because they say, what you're looking at, that there was a situation with his name already. So let me go after it. Even though the numbers cannot prove.
But to be fair, ma'am, Dr. Weekly there was no question to answer in that matter,
No, there was none, but I'm saying because his name was all over the headlines. Because from those days, they had bloggers working, But the situation is, neighbor, the PMP, they don't know how to thrive in this present political climate. So the only way is to assassinate people's character and to spread false narrative. That's the only way to survive. So they don't know any other way. So with Miss Burchell in Parliament, it's time for something to be done about this Burchell.
Yeah, yes. And do you not find that it is getting worse, ma'am?
It is absolutely getting worse, neighbor.
Yes.
Did you know
what you think can be done, ma'am? And you are a woman, but I do find Miss Burchell to be very, very, very,
She's
very
disrespectful.
Yes.
Very disrespectful.
Oh my.
Neighbor, I don't know what she believes is about her, but you can see that she totally and completely despises the Speaker of the House.
Oh boy.
Look at her behavior. Look at her behavior when the Speaker tried to reprimand her.
You see the eyes, ma'am?
That's what I'm talking about. Right?
It's almost like you said, who are you? Huh?
Yeah. When the Prime Minister Nathan Campbell, you are a bully and you will not be allowed to bully us. They would not. They turn the Parliament in a marketplace.
You don't think that is where we have to start, Honeybee, the Parliament? That if we are to cauterize Jamaica and position it on the path to Singapore, we have to start at the Parliament.
Neighbor, the Speaker of the House needs to stand our ground and do what is in our power to maintain the Parliament integrity.
Yes.
And let me tell you, that Marshall, if he can't do his job, he needs to go.
Well, I think he has already proven, ma'am, that it's time to retire that Marshall.
Right? And neighbor, my problem is, how can you be in the people's house and your own personal life?
Well,
Isaac did that in the conference, the diaspora conference, he did that.
Oh, well, the conference is not Parliament, but I think the rules of
Parliament. But I'm saying this is what they do. You understand? Because why they do a live and neighbor, my daughter pointed out to me. the type of things those people were saying in the comment on the live.
Yeah, which one? Which one? Buchanan's live?
Buchanan's live, it was so disrespectful to the Prime Minister.
Oh, wow.
It was nasty. And I said to her, I will not, because I went on the live in a neighbor and I did put out some nice things to them.
You went up there to speak?
Yes, man, I had to put out some things.
Oh, what you saying to me?
Right? Because I was so upset. Right? And then another thing that this woman, I don't know what, but she don't realize that she is cutting our political career short, with these type of behavior. They're using her, And let me tell you something. She needs to understand that these people are faithful to no one.
Yes.
So our time is cutting short, neighbor, and she's not going to get it until she is out of there. This woman come in, neighbor, I listened to you from the beginning. She's not beautiful. I already said that.
Yes.
I make no apologies for that. Shape, she has done. If she had shape that she was proud of, she would not have done what she had done. She did. So she obviously have a problem with her body. She is insecure, and she don't know how to deal with her insecurities, and she has a problem with the Prime Minister's wife, and don't understand that in the Parliament she's not the Prime Minister's wife. She's a duly elected member of Parliament, and she's the Speaker of the House.
Pardon me a minute, ma'am. Pardon me a minute. Standing Order 12 says the Marshal, they call him the Sergeant at Arms,
yes,
is responsible for the proper and orderly conduct of the House, not the Speaker alone, not the security, the Marshal. So when for example, Miss Burchell comes out with her phone, we have to ask, where was the Marshal?
Neighbor, the Marshal is suffering from political complex. Let me tell you. He's one of them that is there too long.
The Marshal, hold up, the Marshal is the muscle behind the Speaker's ruling.
Yes.
Okay? So when you hear the Speaker say, Marshal, what she's asking for is for support. Support to enforce the rules. In other words, the Marshal is like the police. So where the Dickens is the Marshal?
Neighbor, my mother, as I tell you, is a laborite from I know her. And my mother spent 83 years on this earth, right? And my mother, long time ago, before this election that passed, she was always keep saying that Marshal need to go, is there too long, he served under too many governments. That my mother said. She said he no longer know who he must listen to. And she keeps saying that, and if my mother was alive today, neighbor, she would tell me, I told you people that something is wrong with that man. And I see it, and when I saw, remember in the house when Angela Brown Burke and the Marshal act as if he did not have a clue what to do.
Yes.
When he was sanctioned by the Speaker, and I'm saying, I hear my mother's word repeating in my ears, and I'm saying, because my mother never missed a Parliament sitting. She used to go to Parliament, but she no longer did it in her last year. But my mother can tell you about the standing order of the Parliament, and she has never served, because that is how much she followed politics. And I'm saying, with what is happening now, the Speaker needs to stand our ground and do what needs to be done. Name her and get her out. Suspend her. Make an example of her, because she's doing too much now. And if the PNP want to stand up and walk out, so be it. But you cannot let the people's business keep on getting disturbed by this one person. It don't make any sense. What is going to be done when every time you have to dismiss Parliament because of disruption? It don't make any sense. name her, suspend her, and get her out. And if they want to walk out, go ahead.
Well, once the speaker invokes the standing order, ma'am, the marshal is to act. The marshal has the authority, once the speaker rules, to physically.
But you see what they do with Joan Burke, right? You see what they do with Angela Burke, right? They stand up when the marshal went. They stand and make a barrier in front of her. And I suspect that they will do it again if the marshal try to remove Nikisha Burke.
Well, you know, ma'am. You know, ma'am. If the speaker rules and the speaker's authority is not obeyed, then the marshal is to act. And if the marshal need assistance, the marshal summons the police.
Exactly. But
hold on, ma'am.
He doesn't have to summon the police. He's head of all guards that are there. So he has manpower.
He has manpower, right? So we need to understand, ma'am, that this we have to be a country of rules, ma'am, and laws. You see, let us not what they call it, pussyfoot around this matter. This is not a matter that we need to necessarily.
You realize what is happening in our schools? You realize what is happening in our school? The disrespect all the children.
If the society is to become a place of respect, ma'am.
Exactly.
Then we need to start. We start at the parliament.
Exactly my point.
Look at the prime minister in the parliament yesterday having to get out of character to tell the man that he's a bully. You know that, Mr. Campbell, let me not get to answer my question inside here, so.
Yes.
Madam, you can't take out your phone in the parliament and go live. The speaker names you.
Did you see what Angela Burke did after the speaker came back to the house? When she stand up and said she wanted to give the directive that everybody that have a question to stand. Did you see that part?
Yes.
So you tell me now. So the speaker said to her, no. You don't have the permission to do that. It's as if these people, all of a sudden, they want to change the rules of the parliament.
Ma'am, I think that it's a matter that requires sensitivity, because the speaker wants to be fair, but the speaker in being fair must.
Because they're already painting her in a bad light, neighbor. So
she's
trying
right, ma'am. So because the speaker is they already said that she's bad, she's the prime minister's all white and all of that. However, ma'am, however, Jamaica is watching. Jamaica is watching, ma'am.
The world is watching.
Eh?
The world is watching, neighbor.
Yes, ma'am. But you know, the parliament sets the tone for the nation.
Exactly.
And for the last 7 months, the tone being set at the parliament does not reflect good on Jamaica.
Don't reflect order.
It does not, ma'am. It does not.
I agree with Harry when Harry said he is worried about the Jamaica that his daughter will grow. I'm worried. Well, Harry, I'm ahead of you. I'm worried about my grandchildren. You know what I mean? And when you said that Harry would be an excellent parliamentarian, I second that.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I second that. Neighbor, my son said to me when he saw what was happening in parliament, he said, Mommy, you always tell me that I'll be an excellent parliamentarian, but I could not be in this parliament with those people sitting across me. It could not work, Mommy. I could not hold it.
Uh-huh.
And I said to him, that is where discipline comes in. And these people have no clue. Mark Gold is not a leader. This man, something is wrong with him.
Oh.
There's no time this man can sanction his members to follow the rules. He just sit there like a dummy. I remember yesterday, I said this one. I'll just say this and get off that somebody else can go and or you get close.
Yes.
I remember this yesterday. I hear a man say that man is nothing but a clown. Another man say, yeah, disrespect, and he was talking about what the Prime Minister said at the diaspora conference.
Yes.
And talk about the opposition leader, and they were saying him a clown out the man, and I was like, the Prime Minister don't need to do that. All that man need is a red nose and a wig, and he have a perfect clown.
That a golden man?
He a perfect clown of himself. Of course, he's a clown.
Well, continue to carry the fire, ma'am. Honeybee, take care of yourself.
Same to you, neighbor.
Bye-bye. All right. So you see, if the speaker is the brain of the house, speaker is the brain, then the marshal is the spine. The speaker makes the rulings, the marshal enforces them. If you have no spine, then no posture. No posture, the house collapses into chaos. So part of what is happening in the Jamaican Parliament is that the marshal is weak. But marshal needs to be retired in the public's interest. And we probably could do a little civic corner on that at some other time. But we're going to have to leave it here. Astute can give you a couple minutes.
No, neighbor. Thank you, neighbor. Thank you, neighbor. Blessings. Keep up the good work. We'll continue to convene here, press the nation's business forward. There is so many good things to promote on this platform, and this platform can be the beacon of change Jamaica so urgently need, because we cannot progress if our populace is civically illiterate.
Yes.
Their IQs are low. Those two things cannot go together, and if IQ is low, then the EQ is also low. So we have to play our part, and I will continue to show up as needed. I will do my part, because as Harry aptly pointed out,
yes,
the future depends on our actions today. And I know what I saw in the 80s and 90s. I do not want Jamaica to go back there.
Before you go, Astute,
Yes,
the Parliament, Astute, you don't think that we have to start there by assessing how it is being conducted, what is coming out, and who are going in? You don't think that's where we have to start on this road to Singapore?
Most definitely, neighbor, because it is by their example that the country will follow. It is by their example the country will follow. So if for example, this is how humans work. If you are somebody I look up to, then I want to emulate you.
Yes.
I want to become like you. So if I am seeing one of the highest paid persons in our country operating like that, and I aspire to get whole heap of millions of dollars a year, then I am going to look at what I need to do to get me there. And if I am the lawmaker who is setting the example, who has said to do X and Y, and I am doing something that is in contravention or opposite to what I am putting into effect, then it is a great confusion, because I am seeing one thing, but yet they're telling me to do another thing. It's like when I was younger, they say, do as I say, not as I do, but that's not how the human.
Yeah. And how do we
mind operates.
Sorry, how do we stay on message, Astute? The narrative setting, the framing of the story, clearly that is being done in Jamaica, assisted by media or some media organizations. How would you recommend that the party functionaries keep?
I love that question.
Yes.
I love that question, because it's something that I've been thinking about. Now, neighbor, it is important. During the time of the election, I say this quickly. During the time of the election, I was doing some studies, because I realized that traditional media, which is consumed by over 70% of the Jamaican populace,
yes,
including older folks, was losing its grip. However, the number of social media influencers are not the positive kind. So even though social media has a strong footing within the information supply market, you have to understand that what is being supplied represents the white underbelly of our society. Represents some of, yes. Or this platform represents a rarity. This positive platform represents a rarity in where over 300 people come on your live. I see some of those other lives, 5,000 people, 7,000 people, and the kind of topics that they are having over there, trust me, leave much to be desired. So to your question, what we need to do, as I had pointed out before, and I realized exactly what's going on. I'm a man who played chess, and I realized that is a massive chess game that is being played within our governance structure.
Oh.
This is how things work. Yes, man. This is what we need to do, neighbor. Now, the People's National Party and their surrogates are using propaganda, one of the oldest tricks in the political playbook. Propaganda to shape the minds of our people and effect political change. What we need to do, neighbor, is stick to topics. So, for example, you see a system, nothing, it's just like a business. A business has to be scalable and you have to improve, put systems in place. A system is important. The system is this. You made a mention of civic corner, whatever name you want to call it. That is one. Two, highlighting the positive performances of our government and doing so in an unbiased way. Because what we don't want, and this should be the role of the opposition, the system of checks and balances, but they're obstructionists. So we now have to stand in the place of somewhat like a quasi-opposition, where we put out the positive news, we teach the people, and we stick to that. Because one thing I know, it is, you see, direction, and our direction is more important than how hard we go at something. So it's not how hard you go at something, but it's the direction in which you're going. So if you keep a consistent application to pushing positive messages out there, trust me, people will consume it and lives will be changed. And that is all we have to do. Just as I stated about the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister and Chops Media said it quite aptly. If you have $1,000 to spend today, do we spend that $1,000 chasing after dogs, or do we press towards our goal? We have to press towards the goal, because it is with change that people also will be changed. And I stand out there.
So you are saying that even though you can focus a little on the issues of the day, keep your message on promoting the values, the achievements, teach the people the civic, make people civic literate. Keep your message there.
Yes, neighbor, believe me. You see, I'm going to tell you something, neighbor, what I learned, and the Bible cannot lie. You see, anything that is evil, when you put out in the atmosphere, that comes right back at you. What you put out comes right back at you. So you see, when you do things that elicits positive change,
yes,
continue to do that. That is exactly what is going to come back. It creates a multiplication and a ripple effect.
Oh,
positive messages, because neighbor, what you see, the human mind and the human, as a matter of fact, the Bible tells us that we as human beings are just a little bit below angels. We have the power through our words to shape our very reality.
Yes.
What you think and speak becomes what is real for you.
Uh-huh.
So if you get up every day and you think negative and you speak negative, your life becomes very negative. But get up every day and live a life of gratitude and speak greatness. I'll give one example. There's this popular person by the name of Tanto Blanks.
Yes.
I'm going to use him as an example. I remember when I just saw him, every minute he must say, Rich. I come from Spanish Town, I know him. And he must say, Rich, real rich. He was never rich, but check him now. Check him now.
Oh my God. So all I need to do is to start saying, rich.
Yes.
Oh my. Well, I'm going to start saying it. Rich. Rich.
You have to believe it too.
Oh, yeah.
You have to
believe it. Uh-huh. Well,
you have to believe it.
Listeners, you hear that?
Not just say it, you have to believe it.
Yes.
The Bible tells us life and death is in the power
Oh,
of the tongue.
yes. Oh, yes.
God's word shall not return unto him void. Whatever he says, it must go so.
Amen.
Because it is impossible for God to lie.
Yes.
That is the only thing that God is impossible for God. He cannot lie because it is within his nature to be truthful.
Wow. Well,
so neighbor, do it that what you must.
Yes. Thank you, sir. You going to come in here tomorrow? Make sure.
I'm here every day, neighbor.
Well, yes, I like you. I like you very much. Very good. Nice contribution. You are very, very good, intelligent young man. Thank you so much. Member Harry? Yes. Member Harry? Member Harry, boy, what a fantastic program tonight with all that we had to say. 10 minutes to 11 o'clock. You did recommend to management to give me a little increase? With all
yes, give you a little thing. I mean,
By the way, Father's Day is coming up on Sunday. Lovely.
Always, neighbor.
Yes. My listeners, make sure you remember, we have to celebrate the fathers, okay? The fathers here on Politics Plus Network. Please, if you want to sponsor us, 954-635-8732. Whatever small amount you can send to sponsor the program, that's your sponsorship of
Can you repeat that number for me?
that the Zelle account. The 954-635-8732. Please sponsor the program. Whatever small amount you have, your sponsorship keeps us going tomorrow. So whatever you give us tonight, we are appreciated. We will be sure to come on tomorrow. Tomorrow we should be having Natalie from JPU, and what a blockbuster that ought with all the issues here. We're going to be reviewing them tomorrow with Natalie. That should be a blockbuster of a program. 8 minutes to 11 o'clock, and we're asking for sponsorship for tomorrow. 954-635-8732. Moderator, please post the Zelle account and the Cash App so that the people can sponsor the program tomorrow, to make sure that we are able to come on. We don't want to go to the account and there's no money, so that we can't take care of our production costs and all the other associated costs to keep this show going. We do not take advertisement, but if you have a small business and you want us to promote it for you, we can do that. We have thousands of people that are tuned into us every night on YouTube, Patreon, X, TikTok. Please also remember that we produce the Caribbean Current, and you can go to our pages and read that article. I want to thank you so much for tuning into the program tonight. As I was saying to you, Natalie from JPU will come on tomorrow to review all of the news during the week, and we will have a fascinating discussion with Natalie tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Make sure that you are tuned in. Make sure that you are sharing that with people so that we will have you here tomorrow. Again, the Zelle account is 954-635-8732. If you are on X, thank you so much. Please, 954-635-8732 is the Zelle account, and we are asking for your sponsorship for tomorrow's program. Help us to stay on and to keep us on the air. Your sponsorship is absolutely required. So, Member Harry?
Yes, neighbor. Oh, neighbor, also the visit and shop at the Hello Neighbor Show store.
Yes.
That's another way in which you can, help the program as well to be on air every night. Well, not every night, Mondays to Fridays at 7 p.m. until you say when, because it seems like it's going to be that in a neighbor.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, I don't know if you know, well, I'm sure you know that we're planning some outside broadcasts,
Yeah, we are.
Lovely.
Definitely neighbor.
Boy, you remember, imagine when me and you drop on the street, eh? Yes. Yes, we're gonna go on the road and talk to people, and you'll hear us live in a community near you. Stay tuned for that. We're coming live to you, and with our producer Caroline. You're gonna meet her. You're gonna meet her right here live, and myself and member Harry and all the team here at the Politics Plus network. We'll have fun with people on the road. We'll play music. We will talk real issues, and we will be definitely sure to engage. So we need your sponsorship, listeners. We do need your sponsorship at this time. There are some infrastructure that we need to put in place so that we are able to do those type of things. 954-635-8732. There are some fantastic people here, that keep us going. Yeah. Your names will be called in due time here. I tell you something, without your support, I don't know how we would manage. I want to thank my producer, Caroline, and all of the team for their good work here on the network. All right. So member, close us out now and let us go to our beds.
All right. Oh, we're still live on YouTube?
We're still live on YouTube, yes.
Okay. Because, I can't leave out my YouTube family in a neighbor. They probably might give me a whooping when I go back over. But YouTubers, I always love you. Like, share, subscribe to the YouTube page. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And also tell that friend to tell a friend. Conversations that matters is what we have here. We move the political needle, we move the civic duties as Jamaicans, and we bring back that national pride in having these conversations to move Jamaica forward. So, that's how you support. Again, you can always go to the Hello Neighbor store. You can buy a merch. You can also give recommendations. But like every other night, it's another beautiful program. It's another hard-hitting one.
Yes.
And we see you in your numbers. We want to make those numbers count, to keep us on air as well. But we do this again tomorrow. Tomorrow might be bigger, better, but through your support. So I do hope everyone turns up tomorrow. Also, maybe I want to reach out to those for the weekend who is going to church. Tell the congregation to tune in to Hello Neighbor show on Politics Plus Network.
Yes.
So we can grow to be bigger and better. And so we can reach more people locally and in the diaspora, as well as, being that we have Caribbean Current, do so regionally as well. So we're expanding and we need your support every night. Happy to see you guys coming out as well. But together we'll make it work. And I do hope everyone have a very restful night. Have some beauty sleep for the ladies. For the man, them all on the rest. Leave the stress and wake up tomorrow to hit the ground running. Have a good night, everybody.
Fantastic. Absolutely great. All right. The Wreath and Travel. Okay. Wreath and Travel. You have a small business. Well, great. We'd love to tell our listeners about your business. Wreath and Travel. Thank you so much for your kind comments there about our radio voice. That's Harry. You say, Harry, have a good radio? I think so too. All right, Wreath and Travel. All right, YouTube, take care of yourself.
Has an approval bilaterally go.
Shafreen, thanks so much. Let me just go over to YouTube to take me down now, Shafreen, please. Let me see if I can choose out with.
Remember to say goodbye to X.
Yeah, yes, my friends on X. Thank you so much. All right, good night to you, and catch us tomorrow when we'll have Natalie from JPU. All right, bye-bye, everybody over there on YouTube. Take care.